Horse racing fans who visit upstate New York step back in time to a town and venue where history and tradition take precedence. It's a place almost magical, retaining the charm of years past while always continuing to attract the best the sport has to offer. Each year, new stars emerge. Last year, it was Arrogate and his breathtaking performance in the Travers. And Songbird began to make her case as one of the best fillies in racing history. What new stars will shine this year? The game's best have once again assembled to a town where time stands still, each hoping to make their mark at the one-of-a-kind meet at Saratoga.
It's the day race fans look forward to all summer long. The history, the tradition, the excitement. We'll have it all from opening day. Any big day at the racetrack includes fashion. We'll have the story of Theory co-founder Andrew Rosen and his ties to New York racing and the role his father played in getting into the game. Can the Philly Stainless steal a record-setting 7th win in the Grade 3 Schuylerville for 7-time champion trainer Todd Pletcher? And the Great Lady Eli is opening weekend's main attraction. We'll preview her return to Saratoga and a chance for redemption against Dickinson in Saturday's Diana. Hello, everybody, and welcome to opening day at the spa here at Saratoga. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Great to have you with us on Fox Sports 2, Fox Sports Prime Ticket, Fox Sports San Diego, and MSG Plus. It is packed with absolutely beautiful weather here at Saratoga. Glad to have you with us. And we have a little bit of a new crew here. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met, Los Angeles Dodger, Paul LaDuca. Great to have you on board this year. Paulie, I know horse racing right there with baseball is one of your great loves. And being a Brooklyn native, you know how important the Saratoga meet is.
Well, the tradition that comes with Saratoga, just to be the blimp on that screen and to be part of this great team. I'm honored to be here and honored to be here at Saratoga itself. Like I said, the tradition that it has, what you said in the open, over races over 150 to 160 years old. Tremendous.
And back with us again, Gabby Gaudette comes from a family full of trainers, and your expertise in Maryland racing going to be key for us today in the Grade 3 Schuylerville.
Let's hope so. I am partial to Maryland here, but, you know, I was happy to join the broadcast last summer up here at Saratoga. It is such a magical place, and you can just feel that every single day that you come out to the track. No matter what day, it's always packed, and that's what I love about Saratoga. We also get to see historic races, and looking forward to another fantastic meet.
Hall of Fame trainers, the best jockeys in the entire world, some of the best horses. We're going to see who makes their mark this year, all coming up over the course of the next 40 days. We're going to be here every single step of the way, and of course, you can play along from home every step of the way as well. New wagers started with NYRA bets, that pick 5, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's already underway at this meet, but you can get signed up and started at home with NYRA bets. Bet 200 and you get 200 in your accounts. The only way to get signed up and started outside of the state of New York or anywhere across the country is with NYRABets.com. Use that promo code PICK5. You can play anywhere, anytime. You can bet on over 200 tracks nationwide. Go to NYRABets.com. Use that promo code to get $200 in your account and get signed up and started. Track conditions are brought to you by John Deere. Beautiful weather all day long. That main track, fast turf course is firm. As we take a look at the races, we'll be bringing you on our first Saratoga Live here of the meet, race 7. A difficult one, a 1 3/8 over the inner turf. We'll get into back-to-back graded stakes, 2-year-old fillies in the Schuylerville and 3-year-old fillies on the turf in a 1 1/16 Lake George. Paul, let's take a look at a pick 4 that you put together for us in this sequence.
Well, I'm going to try to break my maiden in my first day of work here at NYRA. I think this pick 4 is very difficult, but I think it's a playable pick 4. You're going to have to take a stand in one of these races. I'm taking a stand in the Lake George. I'm going deep in race number 7 to start this out. I thought this race was tough. I think a lot of people landing on Red Rifle, the 6, who had trouble last time. I think the race is deeper than that. 158 in the Schuylerville. I think Mel's Gone Wild, the rail horse, is getting dismissed a tiny bit. I'm going to take my shot in the Lake George and single the 7 in there. Party Boat with Joel Rosario. They're going to go deep in the last race, 5 deep in that one.
All right, it is a pick 4 that you absolutely want to be part of. Again, you can play it through NYRABets.com. We got crew stationed all over the racetrack here all meet long. Let's head downstairs near the paddock to New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling, who I know is excited about opening day, and one of the top trainers in all of the United States, Tom Amos. Good to see you guys again.
I'm just excited that on Paul's first day, he singled a horse to price in the Lake George, a player in a competitive field. And I don't know about you, Tom. It is just great to be back in Saratoga.
It is. The best horses, the best trainers, the best jockeys, and the greatest environment that was made for one thing, horse racing. I'm just proud to be part of a team that's going to bring that to horse racing fans all over the United States.
No, I agree. It's great to be here. And it's starting out with a great day of racing. We've already seen some terrific performances, and there are still 2 stakes left to be run. And the 7th race, the first race we're looking at, Tom, it's a stakes quality group.
It's a stakes quality group on the grass, marathon distance, 1 mile and 3/8. Not a lot of horses can do that, but this group has proven most of them that can not only do it, but they can do it well.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's the great equalizer. Distance is the great equalizer in racing. And keep in mind, for those people not familiar, while Belmont Park, we can run 1 mile and 3/8 around 2 turns. At Saratoga, it's a 3-turn race, so they're going to start in the backstretch and go by the stands a couple of times. Highland Sky, the 10 in here, probably be vying for favoritism with the 2 Messy in this race. Highland Sky is a talented horse. He's just got to put it together one of these days, Tom.
Well, you know, there are 4 horses that came out of the same race that Highland Sky was in. They're coming back competing today. You've got Red Rifle, Gold Shield, Mark My Style, and, of course, Highland Sky. They all ran together last time. They finished very close together. I'll have some things to say about your pick, Highland Sky.
A lot to say about the trips. A lot of different trips for horses there. There's a lot to say about a lot of things happening here as we head back upstairs.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. We're getting close, 17 minutes away from race 7. Of course, winning the training title, the jockey title, it means so much more here, almost than any other meet across the country. Last year, it was Michael Dubb, who was the top owner at the meets. And, guys, in terms of the trainers, it was very special for Chad Brown. He grew up just about 15 miles away from here in Mechanicville. Saratoga's something special to him. He finally broke through last year.
Yeah, I think the surprising part about this, Gabby, is, okay, Chad Brown, out of the 40 wins, 26 of them were on the turf. So, giant advantage there. The next guy was Bill Mott with 9. But he was second to Pletcher on dirt wins with 14. Pretty good trainer there as well.
He had an incredible meet last year, and he took the advantage and taking horses out of graded stakes and placing them well, even in undercard races. And he's got a good thing on tap this year.
Of course, the 2 brothers, Jose and Irad, went back and forth all meet long. Jose Ortiz, he had 24 winners over the last 11 days to take the title last year. Can he defend it this year? He's standing by right now with Maggie Wolfendale.
Greg, here with the leading jockey for NYRA last year with 319 wins. Jose, you went and rode every single race. You worked very hard for that title and also picked up your first Saratoga meet title in doing so. How did that feel?
It feels great. We had a great year last year and a lot of hard work, like you said, and I'm happy that we end up in top on NYRA circuit and in Saratoga also.
And you're riding into this meet with a win in the Belmont meet as well. And just kind of talk about how hard you and your agent, Jimmy Riccio, worked to kind of put yourselves on top.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy, he does a lot of work. He works a lot at home, and he show up every morning here in Saratoga. In Belmont, most of the morning he's there. And we get in a lot of horses in the morning, and you know, just keep riding as much as we can.
From a personal perspective, Taylor, your wife, as well as your daughter Leilani, have they settled into Saratoga?
Yeah, they really they settled in great. They was here earlier. The baby's doing great.
And Jose, not to mention just numerous wins, but you're also getting on some very nice horses. For instance, Oscar Performance, our Belmont Derby winner, just had a nice ride earlier today on Tocqueville. Might be a favorite for the Alan Jerkins for 3-year-old sprinters. Who are you looking forward to?
A lot of good horses, like you say. Got Oscar Performance that I like him a lot. Ascend. I just won the Manhattan. Topper is going straight to the Travers. Grand Motion got a 3-year-old that I really like. His name is, he won a lotto. I forget. He's by Uncle Mo.
I'm sure Gabby can fill us in on that one.
I forget the name now, but a lot of good horses. Like you say, Takafu just won. We're really looking for big future ahead of him. King Picture is an option, I guess, or the Alan Jerkin for straight 3-year-olds, but who knows? A lot of good horses right now. I can't mention you all, but it's a lot of good horses I've been riding.
Well, you mentioned Grand Motion with Ascend, and we will see you on Messi. Good luck here, and good luck for the rest of the meet, Jose.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, talking about Messi in here, he looks fantastic. He is the horse that walked into this paddock for Grand Motion. That looked the best to me. He'll break from the inside. He has experience with this mile and 3/8 distance, and to me, he feels like the horse to beat. Now, Chad Brown will send out a runner who is going and making his second start here stateside. That's number 1, Black Sea, though he will return to Saratoga as a new gelding. He was fairly rank, at least in the early stages of that race. Now, we see him on camera here. He's a little bit hyped up here once again. Physically, well, he looks fine. He looks great. It's a Chad Brown horse. They tend to, but I do not like this pre-race antics that he is throwing into us here in the paddock at Saratoga. So things to think about with a horse that I'm sure connections-wise have been a bit frustrating. That's why we see him now as a new gelding. I will keep you updated as he is trying to get away from his handler here, doing a great job here with Chad's assistant. Andy, Tom, over to you.
See a little bit of action from Black Sea, but we mentioned earlier talking about the 4 horses coming out of the race where Highland Sky finished second. We want to talk about that race through the stretch, and we'll show the stretch run. Red Rifle's down the inside. He kind of lost his spot to the actual eventual winner, a Grand Motion horse. Talk about your thoughts on this trip.
Well, I think the reason I like Red Rifle, who's down towards the inside, look for him in the lime green and brown diamonds, and he's a horse that never gets a chance to run. So he's stuck behind horses, and these 4 horses that we're looking at in this race, Andy, they probably finished within a length of each other, with one of them getting the most compromised trip, and that's the 6-horse Red Rifle. Because of that, you have to like him over the other 3. I'm going to try and talk you out of this horse, Highland Sky. Look, he's going to finish on his wrong lead here. He's going to carry high weight of 124 pounds, giving weight to the others in this race. Ordinarily, weight doesn't make a big difference to me, but going a mile and 3/8, I have to say, I think it's a factor.
Well, it's also a 4-pound switch in the favor of Red Rifle, and I sometimes look at weight shifts more than just weight itself, and I can't disagree. The problem with Red Rifle is he hasn't won a race since the Bowling Green here 2 years ago, and horses like that concern me. I think he's a bit over the top. I will not argue with you. Out of that race, he's the one who had the trip. I still think Highland Sky, the difference for him today is that there's going to be more pace, because last time Mark My Style was crawling up front, and I don't think that hurt Red Rifle because he has more speed. In this race with Infinite Wisdom, I think you'll see a faster pace, and I think that'll put the race more in Highland Sky's wheelhouse. But I got to tell you, I can't argue with you. An outside post and the fact that he isn't getting it done, that's a concern.
So let's talk about pace a little bit in this race. We're going a mile and 3/8. Most of these horses are not precocious types. I think it falls on the 4-horse to set the pace in here and try to go wire to wire.
Over Infinite Wisdom.
I think the 4 makes the lead here, and I think he makes it clear.
Well, if he does, it could be a very different scenario as the horses are heading out to the track.
Every day the Saratoga meets, NYRA Bets is offering a 10% winner's bonus on your trifecta bet on a selected Saratoga stakes. Today, hit the try on your mobile device in the Lake George, earn a 10% winner's bonus. See the full schedule and bet Saratoga Racing and over 200 other tracks nationwide at NYRABets.com. NYRA Bets, the official betting site for Saratoga Racecourse. Here comes our post parade for the start of this late pick 4. We start off with Black Sea, who was riled up there in the paddock for trainer Chad Brown.
And Joel Rosario will be aboard. First time gelding. I don't know if it worked. At least in the paddock, it didn't look like it.
Grand Motion will send out Messi. We'll have the rail in here with Jose Ortiz, last year's leading rider.
Good rail post position for Messi and does exit Grade 1 United Nations.
Mark Cassie sends out Kagan Irad Ortiz Jr., Jose's older brother, on board.
You know, the distance shouldn't be a problem for the son of Northern Fleet. Gary Barber here involved. Haven't been seen since May. Does have a couple good races over the Saratoga Strip.
The 4 is Muktasir. Kieran McLaughlin sends out with Joe Bravo in the irons.
Kieran McLaughlin already with an impressive victory earlier on today's card, and this will be the second race off of a layoff. Could be a pace factor.
Yeah, Tom thought that was the speed of the race. This one, no, quick as well. Infinite Wisdom with Angel Arroyo for Brian Lynch.
Yeah, Ammerman Racing here, Smart Strike gelding. I think this is the other horse here with a little bit of pace. How it shakes out, whether the 4 or the 5 gets to the front end. Arroyo, good front end rider, and this horse does have 2 solid races at Saratoga.
Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez team up with Red Rifle, who's never been off the board on the turf at Saratoga.
Comes out of a treble trip last time out, but hasn't won since August of 2015.
Big price on Gold Shield. Shig McGahee and Manny Franco team up.
Mile and a quarter, just a little too far last time. I think a tiny bit now, going to stretch out a little bit more. I don't know. I just don't think the distance is there. 18-1.
Behesht is the 845-1. Jose Lezcano is yet to win in the States.
Rightly so, 45-1. This horse is going to be hoping for a pace collapse up front.
Mark My Style, 21-1. More pace, perhaps, for John Toscano Jr. with Luis Saez.
You know, Andy talking about he crawled on the front end. I'm wondering if this son of Newmark likes actually to chase the horse, so he might be better from off the pace.
And Highland Sky, your current 5-2 favorite here. It's Barkley Tagg and Javier Castellano.
He's the favorite. He's been the beaten favorite in the past 2 starts. We'll see if he can turn things around.
Late pick 4 coming up, 427,000 in the pool. We're going to take a break in the action. It was once said turf riders made a mistake telling readers what it was like to go to the races here. They wanted to keep it to themselves. It's so great. Well, the secret's out. We'll be back.
The graded stakes winning son of Bernardini is off to a sensational start at stud. Among the leading freshman sires by winners in graded stakes horses, his first crop 2-year-olds commanded prices up to 36 times his stud fee. Leading progeny include TD and Rising Star Recruiting Ready, second in the Bashford Manor Stakes, and stakes placed for former Junket. The pedigree, speed, and class to become the next star in this sensational sire line. Algorithms at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live. You can watch live Saratoga Racing replays, expert analysis, videos, and workouts, and it's all on demand in HD with the NYRA Now app, the ultimate app for horse racing fans. Just go to the App Store and search for NYRA Now, the app, a free download and an absolute must for the fantastic race meet here at Saratoga. Well, Gabby Blacksea, if you said you're going to get Chad Brown at 9-2 here in a turf race at Saratoga, it would seem almost like a gift, but that States debut left a little to be desired, didn't it?
A little scary right now that he is only 9-2, all considering. But Blacksea, I think he's got room for improvement. Obviously, last time out it was his stateside debut. You look at the running lines; it said he was steadied going into the first turn. Really, he was just extremely keen and rank going into the first turn. And if you look at some of his races overseas, he was a horse that could settle off the pace or even mid-pack. So that was kind of surprising to me. re-evaluating the replay and analyzing it, it just kind of looked like he didn't handle the going. And sometimes it's a polarizing turf course. When it has some moisture in it at Churchill, horses either love it or they absolutely hate it. So I'm hoping that he hated it and we can move forward on the firm going today. However, it looked like he was up to some bad antics in the paddock, so he is listed as a first-time gelding today. We didn't get to see him up close and personal, but I did know one person that did. Tom, how was he behaving?
Right about his antics in the paddock, and I don't know what it is about Europeans, but they never behave well in the paddock. I'm talking about horses, of course, but a lot of times they take it to the track and they calm down. You can see he's got some sweat on his shoulders right now. It's a very hot day, but he's acting as he should.
I just wonder a little bit, why would Chad Brown have run this horse in a mile at Churchill if he had
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Look, pace setups in Europe are always slower, and to take a horse that's been running further distances and bring him into a race where the pace is going to be a lot keener, that's not in this horse's wheelhouse.
Shows no confidence to me.
Paul, meanwhile, Muqtasir, this 4 here, a big prize. Well, he's getting played, actually, for Kieran McLaughlin. His biggest win and only win, actually, in the States came on a race that was taken off the turf.
Yeah, and here, if you look at his 2 turf races, besides his dirt races, he's backed up in every one of his dirt races. But if you look at his 2 turf races here in North America, he has made up ground and has finished well. And there's another horse when he was over in Europe. He was in a 1.25 mile horse. He was third by a neck in a 9-horse field. I know it was a smallish type field, but this is a horse that can finish. I think a lot of people think he'll be on the front end or maybe rating a little bit. If you look at his fractions on the turf, they've been much faster than the fractions that he's ran on the dirt, and he's kept on going. I think he's a good play here at 10-1, even off that 15-1 morning line.
Andy, meanwhile, that rail horse, it is Messy, the 2 for Graham Motion. We know he's always dangerous in turf races, and this horse actually with a win at this distance at Saratoga.
I took Messy on top in this race, Tom, and, you know, I could go both ways. Last time United Nations, the rail was very good. He was out in the middle of the racetrack. He had no shot whatsoever with that trip, so I can discount that race. Thought he ran fine in the Fort Marcy. He showed some life. He is not the horse he was 2 years ago when he won here early in the meet at 1 3/8 at Saratoga, and he won our Knickerbocker back at Belmont. But I'll tell you what, Tom, he draws very well towards the inside, and I think he'll save good position. He's also got the speed to be closer, so he won't be compromised in the same way that Highland Sky could be compromised.
Move for Graham Motion to come back in 3 weeks with a horse that did not run a good race. It basically says, hey, my horse is fine, and I'm going to stick him right back in. He's shown that he's very successful with this kind of move in the past. That is a plus for Messy.
And he did have that good race at Woodbine last time as we head out to Maggie.
And a horse that you guys or nobody's even mentioned yet is number 7, Gold Shield, probably the best bred of any of the horses in here. Medaglia d'Oro out of Dream Supreme. Yes, he is a bit of a kind of bridesmaid, just picks up checks, but he does run consistently fast races that put him in the game here. And 2, I find it interesting that this horse has been preparing for this race at Fair Hill. Horses love Fair Hill. It's just a horseman and a horse's dream to prepare there. He looks better than ever in the paddock, I thought. And then he really cemented that notion that I had about him out in the racetrack. He's moving better than ever over at least this main track at Saratoga. So I think Gold Shield at a price is certainly a use and a throw-in here, as we'll throw it back up to Greg as they're approaching the gate.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Well, meanwhile, Highland Sky, you two, the favorite here on the outside for Barclay Tagg, and his only try at Saratoga. Granted, it was his debut, but it came on the turf, and he won here.
Yes, exactly. And he has been the beaten favorite, as previously mentioned in the past 2 starts. But something that you have to take into consideration is that he has had no pace to run into. Today is going to be a different story. He's got at least 2 pace setters, but today is the day he needs to win.
You know, he's the type of horse, the shorter the field, she makes a great point. These kind of horses that run their races upside down need bigger fields. Look at the shorter fields, you don't get pace. The bigger fields, you will get pace. Makes a great point. The thing is going to be the outside post. Can Castellano save some ground early?
And drawn outside yet again. In fact, he was just a head behind a horse who's right next door to him, Mark My Style, the 9 horse, who's 24-1 on the board right now. It's the first late pick 4 on opening day here of this Saratoga meeting. Highland Sky, the 10, the favorite. You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 and MSG+. Let's get things started and send it up to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Colmus, for the call.
And the last one to move in is Highland Sky, who's the 5-2 favorite. Goes in. They're all in line, ready for the start. They're off. And it's Infinite Wisdom who goes out to the early lead. Outside of Black Sea and Kaigun settles into stride behind them, and then Mark My Style to the outside. Muktasar taken in hand to sit fifth in behind horses with Gold Shield to the outside. And then it's Messi, who's 6 lengths off the lead and saving ground on that first turn. Highland Sky is next, and then comes Behesht, racing on the outside of Red Rifle. Into the stretch. First time round here in that first quarter mile, as they head through the stretches in 26.43 seconds. Crawling up front. Infinite Wisdom is the leader, on top a length and a half. Mark My Style under stout restraint in second. Muktasar now goes up on the outside, and Muktasar is going to give company to Infinite Wisdom and now take over. Joe Bravo decides to take the lead here with Muktasar. Infinite Wisdom takes back. Behesht has made progress on the outside of Mark My Style as they continue to creep along through a 52.21 half mile. And then a length and a half farther back to Kaigun on the outside of Black Sea, who is down toward the hedge, saving all the ground on both of these turns. And then it's Gold Shield, followed outside by Highland Sky, who's a good 8.5 lengths behind right now. Red Rifle is next, and Messi at the back. So on to the backstretch they go. Muktasar the leader, 3/4 up in 1:16.93. The lead is almost 2. Infinite Wisdom is running in second. Behesht on the outside. Mark My Style is fourth and down toward the inside. Running room at the hedge for Black Sea, who's up running in fifth. Then Kaigun on the outside of Gold Shield. Red Rifle, Highland Sky perched outside of horses. Messi on the inside. Muktasar heads into the far turn in front. On top a half length, Infinite Wisdom. Re-attacks on the outside, and the two of them are right together around the far turn. 3 lengths back to Black Sea running in third. Kaigun to the outside. Gold Shield between them. They're into the stretch. Muktasar and Infinite Wisdom. These two come to the last furlong together. Infinite Wisdom outside. Muktasar digging down, deep down toward the rail. Muktasar battles on. Infinite Wisdom on the outside. Messi closing with a late bid down toward the inside. Then Gold Shield. They're coming down to the line. It's going to be a photo finish that goes to Muktasar. Holding on to win it over Infinite Wisdom, Messi, and Gold Shield in 2:15.73.
Wow, they were crawling early in this one. Joe Bravo recognized it, and Muktasar quickly took over the lead, and it just kept on going.
Yeah, Karen McLaughlin with his second win on the day, and you're right, Joe Bravo made the move early here. When the 5 took the lead, he decided, listen, I have too much horse. I got to take the pace here, Gabby.
Infinite Wisdom was absolutely crawling on the front end, and Joe Bravo took the initiative, went to the front end, kept setting those slow fractions, and had enough left in the tank just before the cavalry charge late.
Andy, interesting move by Joe Bravo here to say, I can't let him go 26-2. I got to do something here.
Well, when moving in a 26 quarter is showing initiative, there's something wrong in the game. I think the real question is, what was Jose Ortiz doing on Messi? Messi's a horse that has tactical speed, Tom. He had an inside post in position. He was last turning for home. If he wasn't an hour the best, I don't know what an hour the best means.
Yeah, 6 furlongs in almost 1:17, guys. I mean, think about that for a second. I don't think I've ever seen a race of this caliber go 1:17 for the first 3/4 of the mile. And as far as Joe Bravo goes, I think his move down the stretch was probably delayed. He should have done it right from the start. They were crawling.
I agree. The only mistake he made was not going earlier, but I still don't understand why Messi lost that position. That was a disgraceful loss with a horse that was an hour and a half the best.
Insanely slow fractions up front. We couldn't believe it. It looked like they were absolutely walking. And this is a horse in the end who actually winds up taking a lot of money here. 15-1 morning line, bet down to 7-1.
But, you know, I'm going to disagree with what Tom was saying and Andy were saying. Muktasar is a horse to be, when you watch back the replays, a horse wants to be behind horses. And I think Joe wanted to be behind horses. But then when he saw they were going so slow and on El Arroyo, he's like, I got to take the initiative.
I completely agree with you. It looks like we're kind of in disagreement here from the roof to
not arguing that Messi wasn't the best, because I think he was. Yeah.
I think he was. Messi was way too far off of the pace to be effective here. But it did seem like Joe Bravo kind of wanted a target. He probably looked at the race, thought Infinite Wisdom was going to be a touch faster early. Didn't pan out that way, but it figured out to be the right move.
Look, guys, this horse does not have the makeup to go that slow. It's not a question of what Joe wanted to do or not want to do. He had to go to the lead. The horse pulled him there the whole way.
Yeah, I give Joe credit for sensing how Schuylerville going and at least doing something about it while everybody else was doing the old snatch and grab.
Meanwhile, big day for that man right there, Kieran McLaughlin. He won with Talkaful earlier on in the day, a horse who early on in his career looked like he was going to be a star. They tried to get him a race late in the Belmont meet. In that race, he had to wind up scratching, and he goes here instead after he acted up in that race, and he got a win with that horse. Now he wins here in a turf race.
Yeah, Talkaful was very impressive. This racetrack has not played very fast today, and he ran sub 110 a little bit earlier, Gabby, and then Muqtasir here. But we saw this same old story last year with Kieran. He had a monster meet.
I was just about to say that. He actually wound up being third in terms of leading trainers here in the standings at Saratoga last summer. But he started off the meet winning virtually everything. Yeah. And he might be going down the same path this year.
4-5-2-7. Muqtasir with the win for Kieran McLaughlin, the Silks of Shadwell Stable, and Jersey Joe Bravo coming to Saratoga here on opening day, and nothing like getting a win here on opening day at the card at the Spa.
He's one of the most underrated turf riders in North America. He really has been. He's a very good turf rider, knows how to save ground, is very good when it comes to pace. But what I like, if you watch the end of this ride, he did not use the whip at all the last 100 yards. It was all hands and heels and very strong finisher. He sort of herded the 5-out Infinite Wisdom a little bit as Messi rolled up the rail, because I think he thought that was his biggest competitor late.
Those numbers look like opening day at Saratoga. Dollar pick 3, $990. Muqtasir at 7-1, returned $17. 40 cents. Let's send it downstairs to right now the hottest trainer on the ground, standing by with Maggie.
He is the leading trainer here, Greg. And Muqtasir, Kieran, talk a little bit about Joe Bravo's heady ride. He sensed they were going too slow, and he said, you're not getting away with that.
Yes, exactly. He rode a great race, and he slowed him down and did everything right and finished strong and had to ride him hard to finish and win. It was a great ride.
Kieran, you had a great meet last year. You got off to a similar type of start. Is there some kind of formula you're following?
Well, no, it helps. I have to give credit to the racing secretary that they write races. The book goes. You can point for races. The weather cooperates, and it all works out. But it's great to be 2 for 2 here for Shadwell.
Well, I think the most impressive performance we've seen thus far is Talkaful earlier in the card, an allowance race. He put everything together today, and considering the way this track has been playing, he ran ultra fast.
Yeah, he did, and I'd like to give credit to Joe Lee and the team at Belmont. He's not an easy horse to train. They did a great job. We'll send him back there to prepare for the H. Allen Jerkin 7/8 on Travers Day.
That was going to be my next question. He will be one of the favorites, Kieran. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Greg?
Well, this year starting a lot like last year at Saratoga with a red-hot Kieran McLaughlin barn. 2 winners already on today's card. We're going to take a break. After a shocking defeat in her 5-year-old debut, Lady Eli got back on track with a win in the Gamely. We'll preview her showdown and chance for revenge against Dickinson in the Diana next. Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
They're off at Saratoga.
Help you with your bets today, guys. The Wizard of Drop Top.
Endicott Narada Ortiz in the Saratoga Opener. They're nose to nose, and Endicott wins it.
Saratoga 2017!
We're back with live opening day coverage from Saratoga, sitting next to a baseball guy. It's sort of like Wrigley and Fenway all wrapped him into one, isn't it?
Yeah, what I try to, I guess, interpret to tell people is probably you can come here in shorts, in a T-shirt, and have yourself a beer, some Shake Shack, or you can come here in tie and grab a lobster. Nothing wrong with that.
And a seersucker suit.
Wide range.
Absolutely. Some for everybody here at Saratoga, especially on opening day. Time for What's Trending Now. And, of course, the spa is trending. How about this? Good morning. Happy opening day. Hashtag Saratoga 2017 from a member of Graham Motion Stable, Maggie Kimmett. And this from Bethany Bump. The backyard is where all the fun's at. And if you have not been to the backyard, absolutely. But you got to get there real early to get one of those primo seats.
Yeah, I cut to the back of the paddock, and the couple people that were back there, it was a zoo. They say, hello, everybody. They've been out here since about 10:30, 11 this morning.
You got to love the fans here,
100.
They know so much about the sport. They know so much about Saratoga. It's amazing. It's a magical place to come out and talk to everybody.
It's really the one racetrack here in the U.S. where it's as much about just the history and the reverence for the game as it is about playing the horses. The great Lady Eli back in action tomorrow here at Saratoga. She'll return in the Grade 1 Diana. Of course, she was victorious in the Grade 1 Gamely after that narrow defeat in her 2017 return in the Jenny Wiley. She'll have a chance for revenge against Dickinson tomorrow.
Yeah, when Dickinson beat her at Keeneland, very surprising, sort of came back on her with Paco Lopez. And I think Dickinson, the last time that she ran, was maybe handled a little bit too confidently. Then Lady Eli obviously out for the Gamely. She beat a good mare, good year for the Roses for Richie Baltus, but I don't know. I think she might be beatable tomorrow.
It's going to be a great race, and obviously Gabby, a fan favorite and an absolute superstar.
Exactly, and if you're not familiar with the Lady Eli story, she first started her career undefeated in 6 starts, and after her victory in the Belmont Oaks, she unfortunately developed a bout of laminitis after stepping on a nail en route back to the barn. But tremendous story, and like I said, I think she's a huge fan favorite. She's got a huge support system.
Of course, Cherie DeVoe, assistant to trainer Chad Brown. She was basically Lady Eli's roommate, touch and go through that entire thing when she went through the laminitis. She said she never got so emotional with any horse, even going to a Kentucky Derby, as she did going back to the West Coast in that win in the Gamely.
It's an emotional ride for everybody, including her owners. I actually got the chance to catch up with 2 of her owners, Jay Hanley and Saul Cumin, to talk about the journey of Lady Eli.
Well, we were relatively new owners at the time. I think the word crestfallen kind of comes to mind. I mean, we were, I think, scared for her safety first and foremost. But then, we didn't really know how to react at first. When you hear that kind of news, I don't think either one of us knew the seriousness of laminitis. We knew that she was fighting for her life. And that's what Chad told us. And I think we both pretty quickly got on a plane or a train and got down to see her.
The first thing we really did was spend a lot of time on the internet trying to look up what laminitis was, and if you spend any time doing that, it doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. So our first emotion was obviously scared and worried about her and just her health and safety and making it. I think we were kind of advised, look, if she lives, this is a huge win and she's a fighter. And there were days where we didn't think that was going to happen, but she fought through. Then it became, listen, she will probably never run again, and if she runs, the chance chances of her being able to run at a high level are going to be, close to zero. And that journey of watching her come back and the nervousness that, Jay and I felt going into that first race, even though she didn't win, she lost by a nose. It was just seeing that she was going to have a chance to come back to that form. And obviously since then, she's continued to take us on an incredible journey. So it's been, they say the sport is that the highs are high and the lows are low. With this horse, we've felt the highest highs and the lowest lows.
You were mentioning the nerves that were going into play when she came back from the Boston Spa, or with her second place finish in the Boston Spa. Was that kind of a bittersweet moment for you guys, hoping that she had won it in her first race back, but also knowing that she can get back to that kind of form?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those, we were so devastated after she lost. Mm-hmm. But then that night, when you kind of went back to your house, you sort of took a deep breath and you said, wow, she's back and she's okay. And, we were waiting to hear from Chad the next day to make sure she came out of the race okay, and she did. And I think, within 5 hours of the race ending, we were super excited that we were going to have a chance to campaign her again, and she seemed like she wanted to do more. So it was a tough few hours after, because you lose that undefeated status, and that hurts. But it was a win.
Now, Jay, I know Saratoga is pretty special to you. You were just mentioning that you've come to the track many a times. It was actually your first track that you came to with your grandfather. Yep. How would it be if she gets a victory again here at Saratoga? What will the emotions be like for you?
Oh, I mean, the emotions are running really high for me. I think obviously for both me and Saul, but for my whole family, this is the first track I ever went to. All my mother's side of the family grew up here. In Glens Falls, in the area, so I came here all the time as a kid. So just to have her back here, and to have her win her first race here in the manner she did it, I still think her first race that she won, which was here, was her most impressive race, possibly. Just the way she did it. If people go back and watch that race, but to have her back here and have a shot at seeing her win here again, just to race here again, is kind of amazing.
All right, well, she's coming fresh off of a victory. What's the report from you guys? How's she doing coming into this weekend?
So she's doing great. I mean, Chad's very confident. We don't make those decisions. We just listen to our trainer, who's obviously steered us in a pretty good direction, really, since we started working with him 3 years ago. So, and it's a tough race. It's a short field, but there's nobody in there that can't win the race, in my opinion. She's obviously coming in at top weight. Chad's got another horse from Juddmonte that's going to be in the race also, who obviously is going to be really difficult to beat. So, we're, as Jay said, nervous. We're excited. We've got probably 30 people between the two of us that are coming in just to see her run, and this is we always joke about it. We have enough horses now that it's very rare that we actually get nervous. This is the one that we both can't sleep the night before, so fingers crossed.
Oh, Lady Eli, of course, named after Saul Cuman's wife, Elizabeth, and it was pretty remarkable. The owner said, who comes back from laminitis to win 2 Grade 1s? Her tenacity is just incredible.
Well, she showed a ton of tenacity in the last race at Santa Anita. She's going to have to show it in the Diana tomorrow.
It's a very, very difficult race. As they were saying, anybody could win, but she surely has the record to do so.
Oh, she is an absolute superstar, and it's going to be a tremendous Grade 1 tomorrow. We're going to take a break. Todd Pletcher, 2-year-olds, and Saratoga. That combination typically results in frequent trips to the winner's circle. Can Stainless give Pletcher a 7th? Schuylerville.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record-breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. Coming up next, it's the Grade 3 Schuylerville. Back in 1986, Schuylerville, it was Sacoista, the first of 3 in a row for D. Wayne Lucas.
Well, the coach, always good with these younger horses. And Todd Pletcher, his disciple, is just won as many as him. Both have had 7 Schuylerville wins, and he's going to try to break his own mentor's record. That's pretty cool for Todd. I know he's very excited, too.
Here's the one he won last year that tied him with his former mentor. That was Sweet Loretta, who didn't get away all that good in the race and still came on to win and salvage what was otherwise a somewhat disappointing day for Todd Pletcher, but that was a nice win from Sweet Loretta. And, of course, he has the chance to break the record, most wins ever, Gabby, in the Schuylerville with a win today.
Well, you always know when Todd Pletcher's in town at Saratoga, he's going to have an arsenal of 2-year-olds, and he's definitely showcased those stats in the Schuylerville and other 2-year-old races at the meet.
Now, the filly that would give him that record-setting victory gets the outside post. That is the 9 filly, a daughter of Flatter. A Claiborne stallion, of course. Stainless, who is on the board at 7-2 right now. She won her debut impressively at Gulfstream, running down a horse who was alone on the lead. She's going to win by 3.5 lengths as an even money favorite with more on Stainless. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Well, Greg, what I like about Stainless is that she wasn't a filly who just busted out from the gate and won on the front end. She went and got a kind of loose on the lead leader, so that bodes well for experience. But I will take a look at another impressive gray filly, and that is number 8 in here. Taking a lot of money is Snowfire in here for trainer Mark Cassidy. Now, when she won at Churchill, she was lugging in a little bit. Now, she is wearing a ring bit, which will often help with horses that do or maybe tend to lug in, lug out. It just gives the jockey a little more leverage when steering horses. Now, she is very big and impressive and imposing looking. I like her. She's mature. She's classy acting here as well. So I think she's up for this task of jumping into Greatest Stakes action in only her second start. Next, we'll check in with one that is undefeated, but undefeated on the synthetic up at Woodbine. Now, I talked to her trainer, that is Dream It Is, Barbara Minshall, and she said that she trains this filly consistently over the dirt track at Woodbine, and she trains very nicely over it. From what I've seen from her here in the paddock, she does not look like she'll have a problem with the dirt surface. She's a beautifully put together daughter of Shackelford, and probably one of the best Shackelford fillies that I've seen. I love the way she's balanced. She's making a great impression on me. If she can handle the dirt here at Saratoga, she's certainly one to use. Moving on to number 5, Limited View for John Salzman. I know that Gabby likes this Maryland Invader, and look, I'm rooting for some hometown connections. I grew up with the Salzmans. This filly, though, is very rambunctious in the paddock. She has yet to get the tack on. They have had trouble with her. She's now with the Outrider pony as they continue to try to put the tack on. Everybody else is tacked up here in the paddock, so we are waiting on Limited View. I don't like that about her. I do like the way she strided out away from that field at Laurel, but it looks as though Saratoga, and just a lot of times you catch a filly off guard in their first race, and next time they know what's going to happen, and sometimes they react negative to it, and that's what I'm seeing with Limited View. Big long shot is number 6, Pacific Gal. She's a pretty big long shot in her debut. I liked her that day, but just felt as though she might need a race. She proved me wrong with John Kimmel and Chris DiCarlo. She comes back getting Lasix and a race under her belt. She is way more fit. She looks stunning here at a huge price, and one that I'm very interested in this Schuylerville. But I also want to hear from a handicapping perspective who Tom and Andy like.
So Limited View, Tom, they're having trouble even saddling her out there. How much does that concern you?
A great deal. So when horses have only had one start, particularly fillies, a lot of time mentally they have trouble the next time they see that paddock and understand what's coming. Limited View is obviously recognizing what's ahead of her and not wanting any part of it. Horses that are bad in the paddock, particularly young horses, typically carry that behavior over to the racetrack and to the starting gate, and that's a big X.
It's interesting. This is a trainer, Tom Salzman, a very good trainer, but he's 0 for 14 with horses off of maiden wins, and we're seeing a horse that is obviously, at least here, is not rebounding well.
No, certainly not rebounding well mentally, and that's such a huge part of a race. This race is going to go in probably 1 minute and 10 seconds. So that filly, Limited View, the 5-horse, has 1 minute and 10 seconds to have her mind right and run correctly in the race while she's in the starting gate. All those things are going to be difficult for her mentally, and they still don't have the saddle on her at this point.
I'm going to take the over on 1 minute and 12 seconds in this race, Tom, and we can work on it. I paid you your dinner bet the other night.
Wow, you certainly did.
I'm going broke, so I
want to give over and under
112. You want under 112?
I want under 112, and I'll bet you everybody else wants that same bet.
They got the hose out on her, Tom. Talk about that.
So look, right now she's hot. You know, they need to try to settle her down. I'm actually surprised they're not just keeping her at a walk while they try to saddle her. Maggie, has that been attempted?
Yeah, we're just trying to get her settled as we have the hose on her now. And he said that this is not necessarily out of character for her, but she is going to not play today in today's Schuylerville. Deciding and erring on the side of caution here. So limited view is a late scratch from this Schuylerville, guys.
Limited view, and that's always good. The last thing you want to see is a horse run in a situation like that. Let's take a look at some other horses in here. I'm taking a small shot with Stainless, though I think 7-2 is an underlay and should probably go up. Here's my play, Tom. I found this to be a very tricky race, and a lot of them can win.
Yeah.
Todd Pletcher has had great success in the past coming to Saratoga and stake race with horses that broke their maidens at Monmouth in relatively slow races, and they've improved dramatically. It feels like this year Gulfstream has been his new Monmouth, running many more 2-year-olds there and not so many at Monmouth. So I'm hoping he's got a horse that didn't run particularly fast first time out, but is going to run much better today.
And gets an extra eighth of a mile in this start, going from 5/8 to 6 furlongs, which should be a benefit for a horse that can sit off the pace in what looks to be, Andy, a very hot pace today.
And I think, all she's got to go is about 112 4/5 to get the job done. And I'm really curious when we go back upstairs if anybody else wants to get in on this bet. Because I'm available for more dinners on that if you guys think it'll be under 112. And Tom looks like he wants plenty of action.
Well, late scratch of limited view. So, again, as the guy said, better to err on the side of caution here. But, Gabby, too bad we didn't get to see this filly because she looked pretty impressive back in Maryland.
She did. But, this isn't, as Maggie was saying, this isn't something that's out of character for her. I was talking to the Salzmans before her first race saying that she can only go in and out of one stall and one entrance in the barn. So she's always been a really kooky horse. And sometimes it's just overwhelming for these young horses at Saratoga.
Post Parade coming up. It is brought to you by OCD Pellets, celebrating their 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, be sure to visit OCDPellets.com. So we're reduced to a field of 8 coming up, and right now it is Snowfire for Mark Cassie, who is the 2-1 favorite on the board, Paulie.
Yeah, so now if you had your 5 in the pick 4, you're right now transferring to the 8. The battle of favoritism between the 8 and the 9, Snowfire and Stainless.
All right, I'm going to start with Mel's Gone Wild. Kathleen Damazzi, Kendra Carmouche team up one at Parks first out.
Got the highest dirt buyer speed figure of any horses here, but winning at 4.5 at Parks and then beating a stakes field from the rail at Saratoga. Two very different situations.
Buy, sell, hold, one of only 2 multiple winners in the field at Steve Asmussen and Florent Giroux.
Yeah, this is a horse that beat the boys to become a stakes winner in her last start.
Best performance sent out by Christophe Clement. Jose Ortiz rides.
She has the experience, and she should get pace to run into, but I think this is a much tougher field than she's been facing and had no excuse to lose last time.
Maggie mentioned Barbara Minshaw, the trainer of Dream It Is, the first woman to train a winner of a Canadian Triple Crown event. Did that with Kardashian.
Yeah, Dream It Is 2 for 2 and a stakes winner, but this will be her first start on the dirt.
Pacific Gale, big price. Maggie thought this one looked good in the paddock for John Kimmel.
Was able to control the pace on the front end in her winning debut and will run with Lasix for the first time.
The other Steve Asmussen runner coming off a 3-length maiden score as Javier Castellano in the irons, Laudation.
She goes out for Steve Asmussen. To me, she looks a little on the slower side, but she did show the ability to rate and win.
Snowfire for Mark Cassie, the only filly in the field to win at 6 furlongs. Julian Leperoux rides.
Not only won at 6 furlongs, Greg, but I think the most impressive debut winner of the Churchill Spring Meet as far as 2-year-olds go.
And Todd Pletcher would be a record-setting 7th win in the Schuylerville. Here's Stainless. He has John Velasquez aboard.
She's my pick, but I think she's an underlay at 3-1 based on her first race. She will have to improve, but Todd has had won these races with horses that did improve.
3-1 on Stainless. She is by the sire Flatter, part of the lineup at Claiborne Farm. Second choice again on the board right now as we take a look at Flatter there at Claiborne. And we'll see if Stainless can do it again and give Flatter another great runner here and do more great things for Todd Pletcher. You can never count out Todd Pletcher in 2-year-old stakes races, especially at Saratoga.
You really can't. I mean, he's one of the best. You leave out Pletcher, you leave in a stretcher.
Maybe not quite that dramatic, but maybe along those lines. Coming up, Ken Baffin following his father's footsteps with a graded stakes win at Saratoga. We'll preview the Sanford and another great father-son story involving fashion and horse racing when we come back.
Eclipse Award winner Blame retired to stud with more than $4.3 million in earnings, including a historic victory over Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. In 2017, his top runners include stakes winner No Fault of Mine, Japanese star Resonator, and classic winner Singa, the dominant victor of this year's Grade 1 French Oaks, Blame at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code SUMMER to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
You're watching the opening day edition of Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. You can play along from home with all the races that we're showing you. Bet the action with a NYRA Bets wagering account. Earn a $200 new member sign up. Bet 200, you get 200. Use that promo code PICK5 to take advantage. You can also get access to the NYRA Bets Pick 5 offer daily on that late Pick 5 at Saratoga. NYRA Bets offered nationwide, where you can bet on over 200 tracks all across the country. So be sure to take advantage and get started with NYRA Bets. Well, here is a look at Snowfire, and she is getting bet like she is very good. She was supposed to be pretty good. They spent $500,000 on her at auction before she ever set foot on a racetrack, and she lived up to that billing and that price in her debut.
She surely did, but it's just showcased by the pedigree. She's by Tappet. She's out of a Grade 1 placed mare. She was a multiple graded stakes winner as well. And the thing about her, and as you're handicapping baby races here at Saratoga, two things that I would say are of the utmost importance. A, demeanor. She seems like she's calm, cool, and collected on the track. And B, distance and experience. And she has the upper hand there that she's already been 3/4, whereas any of the field has not done that yet.
Yeah, I think that's key. You make a great point there. She was able to finish very nicely. She won her last race pretty confidently. I know it was only a 7-horse field. I'll have to agree with Tom. She was the most impressive winner at Churchill Downs. She cost a pretty penny. And this is, like a guy said, this is probably not going to be her ideal distance. If anybody's going to love the 6 furlongs, it's her.
And she's looked pretty calm and composed as well, warming up, guys.
I can't argue with anything was said upstairs. I think, Tom, that they're right. I think she's the right favorite in this race. Doesn't mean she's going to win, but I think she's the right favorite. And the 6 furlongs is a big help to her.
Yeah, I like Gabby's checklist. I'm going to add one more to it. the ability to rate, because it's probably going to be a hot pace today, and a lot of these horses have never been pressured on the front end before. Snowfire's already shown she can rate off the pace. Tactical speed is such a great characteristic for a horse, and she certainly has it.
My only question I'm going to say, I never believe there's going to be a hot pace around here. There's too much snatching and grabbing. So I'll believe they're blazing up front when it happens.
Maggie, meanwhile, there's something to be said for experience, and there's only a couple in here with multiple wins. And Buy, Sell, Hold, not only with multiple wins, the 2 filly, she showed that she can put in a fight in her last start when she beat the boys.
Problem I have with her is that she actually beat another filly only by a neck there. So I don't know how strong that Kentucky Juvenile was, but she does feel like an overachiever, guys, and she certainly has that will to win. And as Tom said, you gotta like a horse that can be tactical and lay off a pace in these 2-year-old races. And it does seem as though this track can be fairly tiring unless your name is Talkaful. So I think we'll be looking at horses who have that stamina and the ability to rate here as they approach the gate, Greg.
You surprised, you two, that you were seeing 6-1 on Buy, Sell, Hold, the 2 in here? I mean, she was 3-1 morning line. She's a multiple winner for Steve Asmussen.
No, not surprised. She's a small filly by Violence. I got to see her run at Keeneland. She's a bullet. I think the 6 furlongs could be her undoing here. There's other speed in here. Can she get away from this group? She looks well. I think she looks well in the post-parade. But you can see she's small in stature, and she's fast. She's going to be the one to catch.
There's really not much muscle mass to her. I mean, if you look at her neck even, and I just wasn't crazy about her last race. I know she was going against boys and girls. Maggie brings up a good point that there was just the second-place finisher in there was a filly. She was fully extended to win that race, and Steve Asmussen, the past couple of years, with his 2-year-olds in graded stakes on the dirt at Saratoga, he's 2 for 22. So you really have to take that into consideration, too.
Now, right now, she is 6-1 on the board. That's one of 2 fillies for Asmussen in the race. He also has the 7 Laudation.
I want to give, Maggie selected the 4 Dream It Is. Barmer Minshall has not started a horse at Saratoga in 5 years, and she has not started a horse over dirt in 2 years. So obviously, this filly has been working unreal on the training track over at Woodbine.
Yeah, and there is a look at Dream It Is, the 4 in there, so 5-1 on the board. Meanwhile, that 3 moving in, Andy, best performance with 2 starts for Christophe Clement.
I think she's a little dressed up, sort of with nowhere to go in here. We'll see how fast the pace is. I thought her chance was to win last time out, and the horse who beat her came back and disappointed at a short price against New York breds.
And we see John Velasquez off Stainless. That is Todd Pletcher's filly. Velasquez has teamed up with Pletcher to win 5 of these Schuylervilles.
Yeah, John is off the horse, and you can see she's a little bit wound up going to the gate. As long as she gets in the gate good, this could actually work to her advantage. Those other fillies sitting in the gate having to wait on her, that's never good for young horses that don't have a lot of experience in the gate.
She'll be the last one in line. Can she give Todd Pletcher a record-setting 7th Schuylerville? Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing, Larry Colmus, with the Grade 3 Schuylerville here on Fox Sports 2 Saratoga Live.
John Velasquez gets aboard now, and we're just about ready for a start. They're all in line. They're off in the Schuylerville. Dream It Is comes out running with Buy, Sell, Hold. Pacific Gale and Mel's Gone Wild, and the 4 of them scramble for the early lead. Snowfire came away running in 5th behind them. Laudation is 6th on the inside. Clear 4 lengths of Best Performance and Stainless, who have been left behind to trail the field early. Moving along up front, Mel's Gone Wild, Buy, Sell, Hold together through a quarter of 21.99 seconds. Dream It Is running in 3rd on the outside, now takes 2nd as Mel's Gone Wild retreats on the rail. Pacific Gale storms up into 3rd now on the outside. Snowfire follows in 4th. Best Performance gets going, moving with Stainless as these 2 go by Laudation on the far turn. Meanwhile, it is Dream It Is on the outside. Buy, Sell, Hold cuts the corner. The 2 of them turn for home together. A 46.22 half, and they're into the stretch. And it is Dream It Is and Luis Contreras coming to the 8th pole, pulling away. They have opened up a 3.5, 4-length lead here. Now it's a 5-length lead. Dream It is running up the score. Best Performance has been left behind. A powerful Dream It Is. She comes under the wire in the Schuylerville, 8 lengths ahead of the rest. Best Performance was 2nd, then Stainless and Snowfire in 111.85.
First time on a dirt track, at least in the afternoon, and dream it is. Now a perfect 3 for 3. She runs this group of 2-year-old fillies off their feet.
Well, I think Barbara Minshaw probably thought she had something after that June 17th Woodbine work over the training track, which is dirt. The main track at Woodbine, for you don't know, is synthetic. They do have a training track, Gabby, and this filly must have worked over it great because Barbara Minshaw brought her to Saratoga, and she just crushed this field.
She hasn't started a horse, or at least a 2-year-old, on the dirt for multiple years.
It's unreal.
So, I mean, this has got to be an incredible experience for her to ship this filly at Saratoga and get the victory. But she must have had a lot of confidence in her to do it.
Andy, Tom, I think we missed all the signs here with a barn that felt they had something special, decided to take a shot against the big guns, and it paid off.
Well, I don't think anyone's shocked that she won, and Paul mentioned before the race that she wouldn't have shipped because she doesn't do the shipping. It took about a 10-length winner, Tom, for this race to go 0.15 under 112.
But
all joking aside, this is a very, very impressive performance by one horse and nobody else.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that, Andy, but betting with you is better than the NYRA bets bonus. I'm telling you, it's an automatic every time. Of course, I have to eat dinner with you, but I'll take that.
Dream it is. First time on dirt. How about a 10-length score in the Grade 3 Schuylerville for Hooley Racing and Barbara Minshaw. Luis Contreras aboard for the winning ride. There is Barbara Minshaw.
That's right. She's ready to dance.
Victory. How about that? And everybody's going to want to talk to Barbara Minshaw today and tonight here around town. We're going to take a break. Coming up, he announced his arrival as a super horse here last year in the Travers. We'll preview Arrogate's return and Saturday's San Diego Handicap when we come back.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warfront. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 Mile at Keeneland. Then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. With a pedigree free of Mr. Prospector in the first 4 generations, Data Link is the perfect outcross option. His first weanlings turned heads, selling well above the stud fee. Data Link at Claiborne Farm.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. Dream It Is coming in from north of the border at Woodbine. First time on dirt and a sensational performance.
It really was. I mean, she just took it to him early and late here. Congratulations to Hooley Racing Stable LLC. You made a great point, Gabby. Barbara did a great job preparing this horse.
Exactly. It's not very often that you see two back-to-back strong 5/8 workouts on a dirt track to prepare them for Saratoga, but I thought that she did a fantastic job in preparing her, because sometimes that Woodbine form doesn't always translate, and synthetic doesn't always prepare them in terms of fitness.
Standing by with a former outstanding trainer in Canada, Barbara Minshaw. Let's go to Maggie.
And a very nice lady as well. Barbara, congratulations here with Dream It Is. And a filly that shipping in, were there any reservations on your behalf of her getting on this Saratoga dirt?
You're always a little worried on how she's going to handle the dirt here, but she trains well on the dirt, and, you know, it was the place to go, and here we are, and it's all worked out. It's a dream.
Before making her first start, she's now undefeated in 3. Did you know that she had something special in your hands?
Last few works in her first, before her first start, I mean, she was starting to really zip along there, and we knew she could run well. You know, you never expect them to be this good early, but you know, she's just done everything right, and she's unflappable. I mean, she's unflappable, and I'm just so happy.
Barbara, you're well known in Canada and Woodbine. Maybe not so much known in here in New York, but tell us a little bit about you. You have a stable of 30 horses at Woodbine.
A stable of 30. I'm pretty small in relation to most trainers. You know, I train a lot for Bruce Lunsford and Andrew and his Greg Hudson's and David, and you know, I have a couple horses of my own, and for a few people up there, and you know, just do my thing, and just always looking for a good horse and develop the babies and try to find a good one.
Barbara, you're certainly doing your thing here at Saratoga, and congratulations. A big win in the Schuylerville.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Greg?
Well, Maggie, thanks. She's had some big moments in her career. She's been a leading owner, trainer, and breeder in Canada. The Montreal native, of course, again, the only woman to ever train a winner of the Canadian Triple Crown. And now what a moment here, coming to Saratoga, taking a shot, and to have it pay off like that is incredible. Well, we have the 2-year-old Colts in action on the weekend in the Grade 3 Sanford as we take a look at the lineup, psychoanalyze. We'll go post forward for Brian Lynch. And, of course, Steve Asmussen will send out 2 in the race with Baffin and Direct Dial. This is Justin Phillip, the sire of Baffin. He was a winner here at Saratoga in the Vanderbilt, touring the tables after a near miss the year earlier. And now, of course, his son Baffin will try and get a graded stakes win at the Spa as well.
Very competitive runner, very, very honest runner was Justin Phillip. And I want to say he was placed in the Breeders' Cup Sprint as well. So he's got one in tomorrow, Baffin. And then, you know, bottom side here, a foxhound mare. You don't see those as much anymore, but he was impressive in his last start.
He was very impressive. It's pretty clear to see that he's got a high cruising speed. He was pretty impressive and well backed by the public, and that was a pretty productive race, so he's got a big shot tomorrow.
He's going to have to beat a stablemate, and if he hopes to win the Grade 3 Sanford. And right next door to him in the starting gate will be Direct Dial, a son of Too Much Bling.
Well, the word was out on this horse, Keelan, first time out in April, and, I mean, he flat delivered, and he was dominating. He got run down by He Hate Me, or a.k.a. Rod Smart for you, your XFL fans. But listen, he's clear of the third-place finisher. I thought this was a good enough effort to stay on, and he got a little bit of fitness out of this.
I think He Hate Me is a very good horse, and this was not a discouraging performance whatsoever.
We saw him in that Tremont come back at 5.5.
Yeah.
He did get beat there at a short price, but we'll see how he handles the 6 furlongs on Saturday. Of course, psychoanalyzed for Brian Lynch. First time out, he won on a track that was labeled good at Belmont as he beat an 8-horse field in his debut.
The toughest thing for him is going to be the rail post position, right? Because he's got a speedy type of running style. There's other speed types in here. But what was impressive about this victory, even though he was almost 15-1, he was pressed by the 3-5 shot the entire way and still dug in gamely to the finish.
I thought this was an impressive effort, too. Plus, they're clear again, about 4.5 lengths clear. You know, the third-place finisher come back to run well. So I think that's a live race. But again, she makes a great point. The rail has sort of been death today.
Yeah, he was near the outside in his debut. Of course, that was at Belmont. Totally different circumstances. He will have the rail on Saturday. Here's his trainer, Brian Lynch, on how he's doing after that debut win.
Gave him plenty of time, and he came out of the race in good order, and hopefully he's going to move forward off that race. Drew the rail, which wouldn't be in love with that position, but we're up, it is what it is. So, but I popped him out the gates here the other morning. So I think he'll leave there running, and he was, like you said, very game effort first time. I expect the same sort of performance. I think he'll enjoy a little bit more ground. I think he's certainly bred to go a bit further, and look forward to trying to stretch him out.
Every day, the Saratoga Meet, NYRA Bet's offering a 10% winner's bonus on your trifecta bet on a selected Saratoga Stakes. Tomorrow, hit the try on your mobile device in the Sanford Stakes and earn that 10% winner's bonus. See the full schedule and bet Saratoga Racing and over 200 other tracks nationwide at NYRABets.com. Well, he was sensational here. It was the coming out party for Arrogate last summer right here at Saratoga in the Travers. How about the run he's put together since then? He makes his return in the San Diego tomorrow at Del Mar.
Well, I mean, to me, this is a horse that's been a horse for a lifetime. And I hate to say that now with only 8 races, but when he passed California Chrome at the height of California Chrome's powers off that layoff, that was enough I needed to see.
What about the Dubai World Cup?
Yeah,
I mean, that was the most incredible performance of his career, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Guys, he could probably win this race tomorrow with, what, his C- game?
Yeah, what I like so much about Arrogate, besides the fact that he's a brilliant horse, and this was obviously an incredible performance, Tom, I think that he gave fans an opportunity to see the difference between ordinary good horses, top horses, and some very nice horses at that, and when you get a really great horse. His performances are what greatness is about.
And he showed it here first, at Saratoga in the Travers. That final time of the Travers is unparalleled in the history of the Travers. So, I mean, you knew then that the stage was set for him to go on to greatness.
I agree. That was a great performance. And then he went on to prove he was a horse that was capable of continual great performances. As Paul said, his performance running down California Chrome, when California Chrome had everything his own way. And then all that happened in the Dubai World Cup at the start, and to beat Gunrunner, who's been sensational this year. Arrogate is not a once-in-a-lifetime horse, but, boy, maybe once in every 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, and it's actually not fair to him that we've had some really good horses come along, like California Chrome and others that have taken the spotlight. This horse has not gotten the spotlight he deserves.
I agree with you. You know, he didn't run the Triple Crown races. And a lot of times, California Chrome ran the Triple Crown race. They get the attention. Arrogate deserves all the attention he can possibly get.
Well, Arrogate, the Travers Breeders' Cup Classic, Pegasus, and the Dubai World Cup. He'll be in the San Diego on Saturday as you get a look at Hall of Famer Jonathan Shepard. Race 9, Saratoga is coming up next. We're going to take a break. Still ahead on Saratoga Live, 3-year-old filly Defiant Honor, a second chance in graded stakes action when we come back.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code SUMMER to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
New York Racing Association continues to lead the way with its expanded Spanish language broadcast options all meet long at Saratoga. Catch pre-race analysis available on the NYRA Now app, all in HD, and calls of every race. Here's Luis Grandison with Ancient Secrets win in last year's Lake George from Saratoga.
Ha dominado el comando, faltando 2.50. Aiken Secret dominando por cuerpo y medio. De atrás el keyword viene avanzando. Aiken Secret mantiene el comando con Irak Ortiz. Se defiende brillantemente cuerpo y medio. Aiken Secret con Irak Ortiz. Se gana de Lake George. Segundo está arribando el keyword. El tercer.
Well, we will see if Chad Brown can do it again here. He's got 55. In this race, he was sensational all meet long in graded stakes races on flat turf with 6 victories.
We talked about this earlier in the show. 26 wins on the turf. Here's some of his stakes wins. Camelot Kitten rolled up the rail in the Hall of Fame, and Dasita, very good, and she loves this racetrack.
He had a tremendous season last year here at Saratoga, and I think he's putting himself in the position for another huge year. This is a trainer who has 33 Grade 1 wins, only 7 of them on the dirt. So I think he's hoping that there's no rain in the forecast.
I know, right?
He was the leading trainer at Belmont. That was the case last year as well, but he was a little concerned about that. He had 40 wins at the meet, saying sometimes you run through your conditions with horses, but he's absolutely loaded again.
He is. And when you look through his shed row, he's got turf runner after turf runner. But again, I do want to emphasize his dirt stats are very good. So I think a lot of people, him and Christophe Clement, I think, are the 2 trainers that a lot of people sort of think, okay, these are turf trainers. But if you both look, they're both 24% when it comes to dirt runners.
Well, his filly, 55, 7-2 morning line is open up here as the 2-1 favorites. Although there's a filly in here that owns a victory over her, and that is Party Boat for Graham Motion. With more on Party Boat, let's go to Maggie.
Greg, she does. She's beaten 55 fair and square 2 starts back, and that's kind of where I'm going with my point of reference here. This filly, to me, despite her winning that day, I think she looks better here for trainer Graham Motion. She's forward, she's into the bridle, she's very healthy, she's put on weight, I think. And so to me, it looks as though that Saratoga might be agreeing with her. I know she's shipping up from Fair Hill. But I like what I see from Party Boat a lot more than I have in the past. Moving on to Kentucky Invaders. Number 8, Proctor's Ledge. Way back when, this filly scored at nearly 50-1 in breaking her maiden for trainer Brendan Wall. She's gone on. She's run very well. She's certainly the quintessential kind of turf filly. She almost, despite being a American-bred horse, she looks fairly European. She has a massive turf hoof to her. She's kind of long and ropey looking, very rangy type of filly as well. She looks good in here. She does get Lasix for the first time, which will often take the edge, take the kind of energy away from a horse, but not in a negative sense. But she is very chilled out. She's very relaxed here in the paddock. She does look a picture, but the filly that beat her last time is number 9, Sweeping Patty. Now, to me, Sweeping Patty had one heck of a nice trip. She looks great here physically. I cannot knock this Dale Roman's training. She's very healthy. Dale's horses often carry good weight and good flesh. She's a little bit on the smaller, less kind of imposing side than some of these others in here, but she does come in off of a nice win. So I know you guys are taking a look at number 3, Defiant Honor. Jimmy Toner will send this one out, Andy.
You're falling into a trap, Maggie, with Defiant Honor, because I like this horse. Gabby picked this horse as well. A lot of people I know like her. The thing I like about her race, Tom, is that she beat the Dynamics last time. It was a race that essentially fell apart, and she was pressing the pace in the first attacker. Coming off a layoff, she may well have needed the race, and she still beat the Dynamics. Now, the negative side is the second-place finisher got left and probably should have won, but she might have won while she was getting the pace in her favor, and I'm hoping Defiant Honor, like so many Jimmy Toner horses, take a step forward in her second start off a layoff.
Yeah, so if you're going to push back on this horse and maybe why she may not run quite as well as she did in her last start at Belmont, don't forget Belmont's mile races, and of course I know you know this, are 1-turn races, and today we're going to be going to 2 turns with Defiant Honor. She's going to have the speed of the race, and she showed a great turn of foot in her last start. Can she show that same kick going 2 turns?
I think those are reasonable questions. The only other horse that could run with her early is the 10 Victory to Victory, and you wonder with the blinkers off if they're going to go. If they don't, John Velasquez may find himself controlling the pace here. I like her. I'm betting her to win. I think 4-1's an underlay. You like a horse, Proctor's Lodge, who was supposed to be a bigger price. She's a bit of an underlay, too, at 7-1, but she's interesting.
She is interesting. She comes out of the Grade 3 Regret at Churchill. 4 of the top 5 finishers from that race are here for the Lake George today, and she was second that day but had a trouble trip. It was a Corey Lannery ride where he sat way back and got stopped at the 3/8 pole and had to restart again from way back to run second.
I must have been watching a different race, and maybe I missed it, because sometimes you can miss it at Churchill. The thing about that race, it was a very fast pace, though, that fell apart. Didn't that help Proctor's Ledge, who saved a lot of ground also?
No question about it. And you got to ask about pace today. Obviously, we talked about the 3 Defiant Honor, and you bring up a very good point on the only other speed horse in the race, the 10 Victory to Victory. With the move to blinkers off, you're almost saying, hey, we don't want to go to the lead here, so Defiant Honor may just inherit the lead on her own.
How about Party Boat, a horse I know others like, and I have some smart friends I respect who like this horse. She is improving, and she may have been hampered by being buried inside last time. The leader just sort of put her in that tough spot where she stayed in the 2 path and didn't let her get outside in the clear.
You know, I actually thought in that last race, when she was finally clear, I just didn't think she had enough horse to hold the spot. I don't think it was quite as good as her race before in the Memories of Silver. Perfect trip that day, in my opinion.
She did. There she is, and you're watching it. And I totally agree. I bet her, and she got an absolute dream trip. And 55 finished third with an impossible trip, a slow pace and a wide trip. I hate when my horse is kept pinned in. You want to get them to the outside when they can make their run, but I can't argue. It's not like she had a bad trip last time as we go back to the roof.
All right, guys, thank you very much. I want to remind you every day the Saratoga Meet NYRA Bets offering a 10% winner's bonus on your trifecta bet on a selected Saratoga stake today. Hit the try on your mobile device in the Lake George. Coming up next, earn that 10% winner's bonus. See the full schedule at Bet Saratoga Racing and over 200 other tracks nationwide. You can get signed up and started with NYRA Bets at nyrabets.com. There is Chad Brown's filly, coming off that second in the Wonder again against New Money Honey, who would go on to win the Belmont Oaks. This post-parade brought to you by OCD Pellets. Build stronger bone in your equine athlete. For more information, visit OCDPellets.com. We start with 55. Jose Ortiz for Chad Brown.
Yeah, looking for another one on the card. Out of the Brahms mare, 3 for 7 lifetime. Never a start over the Saratoga turf.
Fizzy Friday, a big long shot, lightly raced, making just her 5th career starts, and Jose Lezcano aboard.
Had a decent enough of a stateside debut, meet some familiar faces as she did in the Regret, but will need to improve drastically.
Defiant Honor is the 3-year. It's John Velasquez, Jimmy Toner.
Taking all the money from 10-1 down to 4-1. The Jimmy Durante run, crazy run. You get a chance to look at that race. There was debris all over the racetrack that she had to avoid. I thought she ran well that day, and then she proved it next time at Belmont.
Here's the 4 Chubby Star for Horatio De Paz, coming out of the Grade 3 Regret, as well as many in this race are.
Connections, Horatio De Paz and Sagamore Farm already have a winner on today's card and ran a beautiful performance against the boys in the Jimmy Murphy 2-back.
Manny Franco aboard Super Marina for trainer George Weaver.
She will have to run her best in order to turn the tables on the rest of the field.
42-1 on that Daughter of Warriors Reward. Party Boat to 7 for Graham Motion. Joel Rosario rides.
This is the one I like. I think she's been getting better and better. I think she'll be forwardly placed today with Rosario aboard. Fergal Lynch had her last time. I thought Fergal gave her a good ride, even though she was maybe second best. If you put her a little better trip, she might have won.
Proctor's Ledge, trained by Brendan Walsh, and Javier Castellano rides.
Gets Lasix for the first time today and really has almost danced every dance against Graded Stakes Company, a major contender at 7-1.
Now 4 come out of that Grade 3 Regret. It was Sweeping Patty who won it by 3.5 lengths. Luis Saez aboard.
Honest horse, a couple wins in a second and a third in the last 3 starts. You worry now the lightly raced horses and the lightly raced fillies. Do they have an advantage on her? She's on her 6th start this year.
Mark Cassie's got the upside, too. Here's one of them, Victory to Victory. Blinkers off with Florent Giroux.
Already a Grade 1 winner as she took the Grade 1 Natalma last year. Blinkers come off today.
And Dream Dancing, Julian Leperoux for Cassie.
Tough slot on the outside for Mr. Oxley, but she did break her maiden over here at the Spa.
Well, opening day especially at Saratoga, all about great racing and celebrities. Standing by with one of them is Maggie.
Here with Washington Redskins head coach Jay Gruden, and we seem to run into you often here at Saratoga. Big fan of the Spa.
Yeah, I love it. Opening weekend's a favorite, but it's my last weekend of the year. I got to get back to work here starting Monday.
And you're going back home to Washington, D.C. area with some money in your pocket. Took down the early pick 5.
It was early pick 5. I hit the early pick 5, but I've lost money since then. So hopefully I will have some money when it's all said and done.
Hopefully to get back into the swing of training and training camp, I'm sure, starting for you. What can we look forward to with the Redskins?
Oh, we're excited. You know, we got a good group of guys coming back, a good core nucleus of veterans. We've added some free agents we're excited about on defense. We had a great draft with Jonathan Allen and Ryan Anderson and some other guys we really like. So we're fired up, man. We have all the reason to be optimistic. Now we just got to go out and perform.
Now, you're a good horse racing handicapper, too. Who'd you like here in Lake George?
I like Party Boat, and I like 55.
All right. Well, let's hope for those two coming in. Go home a little more money, Jay. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Greg?
All right. Thanks a lot, Maggie. We're going to take a break in the action. You're watching Saratoga Live here on Fox Sports. Coming up, can 55 put the Lake George field in a rearview mirror? We'll be back right after this.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Opening day at Saratoga. There is nothing like it in the game. Hope you're enjoying our coverage here on Saratoga Live. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Tremendous crowd on hand. Beautiful weather for opening day as we get set for the Grade 3 Lake George coming up. And Party Boat, Paul, I know one you like quite a bit here, owns a victory over 55, and we talked about for Grand Motion.
You know what I liked about this filly was if you look at her race 3 back in Here Comes the Bride, she had to make sort of a middle move in that race. There was not a lot of pace up front. Made a little bit of a middle run, stayed on a little bit. Dream Dancing beat her, and then the next time she got a Dream Trip in the Memoirs of Silver. Last time out, didn't get the Dream Trip, but I like her try. She's got a ton of try. I like the price at 4-1.
When I first saw her down at Gulfstream in the Wait a While, she just looked like a really nervous filly that wasn't holding a lot of weight on her. And slowly but surely, every time I saw her in the afternoon, she kept getting better and better. And she showcased that in the afternoons, too, in her performances. And although she comes out of a mile race in the Penn Oaks, Polly, I actually think she's going to get better with more distance. This distance, to me, is more suitable than the mile that she comes out of.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, I know there was in shorter fields, and I think she can be up close. If you look at the body of this field, you have Sweeping Patty, you have Victory to Victory, but they're obviously trying to rate that horse with the blinkers coming off. That's the 9 and the 10. Where does the speed come from?
Well, Andy, Tom, again, as you guys talked about earlier, Defiant Honor, the 3, who we were just looking at, looks like she may be able to control things.
She might, but, I'll tell you a couple of things. I don't think Party Boat has to be that far out of it. I think Joelle will look to get her into it, but I'll tell you a horse that is really overlooked. Sweeping Patty buried Proctor's Ledge last time. a little bit of trouble or not, she still beat her by over 3 lengths, and yet she's a bigger price at 8-1. Do you think there's a chance that Luis Saez and Dale Romans are looking at that and thinking we can't get caught with our pants down, and maybe she'll be sitting second in this race, sweeping Patty?
Well, I know Dale's been caught with his pants down once before when he had a little altercation, but anyhow.
That was the illusion, Tom. Yeah. I didn't need to explain, but thanks.
Sweeping Patty, look, picking up weight in this race is going to be one of the high weights in here, and that was obviously a breakout race for Sweeping Patty, but is the regret the same caliber of these New York horses?
Well, that's
and
a
I'm
fair
talking
question.
about all the participants, not just Sweeping Patty.
I think that's a very fair question, but my question to you is, you're Dale Romans and you look at this field, are you going to look to have Sweeping Patty forwardly placed and maybe sitting second outside the 3, which might give her best chance to upset? I'm not saying she's going to. Well, wouldn't you want to be forwardly placed?
Let's ask the bigger question. So many of these horses are pace dependent on how they're going to run here, starting with our favorite 55. And I really think a lot depends on the joker in the deck, and that's Defiant Honor. Is she going to go to the front, and is the 10 Victory for Victory going to be restrained and held back? If not, then you have 2 horses setting a live pace, and that sets up for any number of closers. But if only one of them goes, then the dynamic of the race changes completely.
Oh, I agree. Do you guys think upstairs that anybody's going to challenge up front, or do you think the 3 can get loose?
Well, we're taking a look here at Victory to Victory. The blinker's coming off, but a lot of times you see that and you see a horse relax a little bit sitting off the leaders.
I actually got the chance to speak to Mark Casse earlier this afternoon, and he did say that the plan with the blinkers off is to maybe find a target today. They don't want to take her out of her usual running style and pull her back off the pace, but they do want to give her a target because that's where they find that she does her best running. She's gone wire to wire before in the past, but she's also been capable of running off, and as the distances get longer, they want to be able to settle her.
I'm going to surprise you here, and I think Proctor's Ledge is the horse that's going to lay a lot closer. Corey Lannery, like Tom was saying, is a rider that loves to save ground, loves to sit back. This horse got completely backed up. 3 back in the Appalachian. She had a legit shot to beat La Coronel, who would probably be 3-5 in this spot. She got stopped that day. Castellano has the magic to move horses up. So, I had single to 7 Party Boat. I get where Proctor's Ledge, where Tom's going. I think that filly by Ghost Tapper is going to sit a lot closer than you think.
Now, she has a 4-time reigning Eclipse Award-winning rider in the irons, Javier Castellano. It is the Grade 3 Lake George. You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. Let's send it upstairs for the call to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Comas. Take it away.
They're all in line, and we're ready for the start. They're off in the Lake George, and Defiant Honor comes out running on the lead. Chubby Star goes with her, and there goes Sweeping Patty into the mix, too. And then it's Victory to Victory away running in 4th position. Proctor's Ledge is 5th early on, moving for the turn. Then comes Super Marina, followed by Party Boat. Dream Dancing to the outside. 55 is second last. Fizzy Friday trails the field. Up front, it is Chubby Star who takes the early initiative here and will head them onto the backstretch clear of Sweeping Patty through a 24.71 opening quarter. Defiant Honor is next on the inside. And then it's Victory to Victory, a break of another 2 back to Proctor's Ledge, 5th onto the backstretch, 5 from the front. And then it's Party Boat, Super Marina, 55 right behind them. Dream Dancing to the outside, and Fizzy Friday continues to race at the back of the field. Chubby Star and Ricardo Santana Jr. lead them along here. A 49.66 easy half mile. Sweeping Patty, the closest pursuer, second. Victory to Victory is 3rd on the outside. Defiant Honor 4th and down toward the rail. In behind them, Proctor's Ledge, Super Marina to the inside. Party Boat 6 lengths behind. Then 55, Dream Dancing and Fizzy Friday as they round the far turn. Chubby Star continues to lead the way. On the outside comes Victory to Victory, who's just a neck back in second. Proctor's Ledge switches to the outside of them, and these 3 come into the stretch. Party Boat is right behind them. It's wide open. Defiant Honor gets through it, opening on the inside. As they come into the final furlong, it is now Proctor's Ledge in front. Proctor's Ledge is taking the lead. Party Boat to the outside. 55. Chubby Star is next, but it is going to be Proctor's Ledge and Javier Castellano in the Lake George. They won it by 2.5. Party Boat was second, then 55 and Chubby Star in a final time of 1 minute 41.47 seconds.
Proctor's Ledge, the winner of the Grade 3 Lake George, and Javier Castellano, the magic touch.
All you needed to watch is the first quarter or half a mile. They went 49-3. They did not go that fast, Maggie. We talked about this. Excuse me, Gabby. We talked about this. Proctor's Ledge, first run over Party Boat. But when you're looking at the form, it looks like Party Boat's going to be in front of Proctor's Ledge. That's why Javier Castellano is Javier Castellano.
We talked about several horses making the lead. Chubby Star was not one of them.
That's true, too.
She was coming out of races where she closed well from off the pace. She used to have some speed, but she wound up being the pace setter. Pretty slow fractions, but Javier Castellano just put her in a perfect position. That's Proctor's Ledge in order to be successful.
Well, Tom, a horse that you liked, and she showed plenty of finish here in the stretch.
Trip too. Don't let it be lost on anyone that first-time Lasix can sometimes make a difference as well. Not to take anything away from Castellano's ride, which was very, very good, but that's her on the outside, and she shows a very, very nice kick right at the end here.
It's hard to say for sure without watching the race again and seeing if there was some trouble somewhere, but it's hard to imagine this wasn't a definitive win. Both the first and second horses, trouble or not, they seem to be very much the best horse. I like Santana. He was aggressive with Chubby Star. John Velasquez just gave up the lead immediately, and they went very slow. I wish these riders would persevere a little more and maybe get better position, but the first two were best.
Well, we know this much. Chad Brown will not sweep the turf stakes on flat grass here at the meet. This one goes to Brendan Walsh and Proctor's Ledge. We're going to take a break in the action. Coming up, what happens when the fashion and horse racing worlds collide? Theory co-founder Andrew Rosen shares the two might have more in common than you think. His story next when Saratoga Live continues here on opening day from the spa.
Multiple Grade 1 winner First Samurai by Giants Causeway got off to a quick start at stud, siring Grade 1 winners in each of his first three crops. His talented son Lee captured the Grade 1 Don Handicap in record time and retired to stud with over $2.3 million in earnings. Sovereign Award nominee Stack Beck captured the Grade 3 Bold Venture Stakes and Grade 2 Kennedy Road Stakes, both just to tick off track record times. First Samurai at Claiborne Farm.
They're off in New York, the premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Dakota, they won't catch Monin. Monin wins the February Stakes.
You have the opportunity. New York breds. Get with the program. The best program.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. Tremendous opening day action. We're going to be here all meet long. And always something special to win here at Saratoga, and especially on opening day. That man wins a lot of races. 4-time reigning Eclipse Award-winning rider, and later this summer, right across the street, will be inducted into Horse Racing's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, congratulations to Brendan Walsh and Javier Castellano. Mrs. Patricia Mosley, Ghost Zapper out of that Arch Marin. Going to get a good price for Tom Amos, $14.20 on top. Alternate pick threes because of the scratch, so $5.85 going into that last leg for the pick four.
First win for Brendan Walsh ever at Saratoga. Meanwhile, let's head downstairs to Maggie.
So one heck of a way to get off the Saratoga duck here with trainer Brendan Walsh picking up a win in today's Grade 3 Lake George. And Proctor's Ledge, Brendan, she was a filly who kind of surprised you in her second start of her career at Gulfstream, but she's gone onwards and upwards from there.
Yeah, it just took a while for the penny to drop, Maggie. Second run was very good. Her next run after that was very impressive. She threatened to be a real nice filly, and thankfully today she's finally come to hand.
Now you decided to give her Lasix for this start, as well as getting Javier Castellano in the irons. How much of a difference did those two things make here today?
I think things set up for pretty good today. Who knows with the Lasix? Javier is a great rider around here too. So we're only delighted to get him, and everything just came together at the right time.
And you're having one heck of a year as well. I mean, winning your first race here at Saratoga, you've won several stakes throughout the year. Talk about how everything's coming into fruition for you.
No, everything's just going good, but, you need people like Mrs. Mosley and owners like that. I had my very first winner for her, and it means a lot to me. She's she loves Saratoga. She spends all summer here, and it means a lot for me. That's just one example, and I've great owners and great people around me, great staff. It's a credit to all of them,
Well, I know you're going crazy on the inside, but you're not showing it on the outside. You're a cool customer.
You should see me in about 2 hours' time, you might.
Oh, I know. Brendan, congratulations.
Okay, thanks, Maggie.
Greg?
You better believe there's going to be some celebrating tonight. 49-1, by the way, when she broke her maiden first time out. But what a moment here. First career win at Saratoga, and as a result of that, we're going to have a carryover now in the pick six.
Yeah, again, you start looking at her form, and you keep reading La Coronel, and you just remember how good she is, and she was behind her a couple times. And again, Castellano might have made the distance. Brendan Walsh is starting to make his mark. He is a very good trainer. You were talking about the Illinois Derby winner, and he can train horses to go long on the turf.
He's a fantastic horseman.
Horse racing and fashion usually go hand in hand. Opening day at Saratoga, it's no different, providing the perfect opportunity to get decked out for a day at the races. For Theory co-founder Andrew Rosen, a love for fashion and horse racing were passed down from his father, Carl. The family's success in the game began with a champion filly, continued here at Saratoga with Icon Project. As he explains, it's been quite a ride in two worlds that share a lot of similarities.
I started working with my dad 1977. He had just done the deal with Calvin Klein to make the jeans, and it was just a phenomenon what happened. And people still today, talk about that and remember it. And that was the time that I got started working for my dad, and it was just an incredible experience. My dad was an amazing person, and, just so passionate about fashion, so passionate about horses, and I guess it was lucky I came after him, and I shared the same passion. He liked to name horses after his friends or people he's in business with, and he had just done a line of Chris Evert tennis dresses and tennis clothes, and those were incredible days, and winning the Philly Triple Crown, and then going out to California and winning the match race against Miss Muscat, and Chris Evert turned out to be just an amazing racehorse and an even more amazing broodmare. And Chief's Crown was a yearling when my dad passed away, and everyone referred to my dad as the Chief. So it just worked out that I thought a good name for the horse would be Chief's Crown. And he turned out to be a champion just like my dad. I got a little spoiled, though, because the first horse that I ever really was involved in that way was Chief's Crown, and I didn't realize how really special it was.
Chief's Crown, here's the wire, and a champion is crowned. It's Chief's Crown.
Chiefs Ground didn't come too far after Chris Everett, and, maybe I just thought that's the way it was, but I've been waiting, 40-some years or 30-some years to get another horse even close to Chiefs Ground. I think that both in fashion and horse racing, things move quickly. They move on, different bloodlines, different stallions. It just, nothing stays the same. And I think fashion is the same way. So I like the racing, but I really like the breeding too. And I guess, because I was involved with my dad in the breeding, and I really enjoy that. And in some ways, it's a lot like fashion, mixing things together and see what you come up with. The whole sport of racing and breeding and all, it's just very fascinating, and you meet such incredible people and have so many great relationships here in America, over in Europe. Being exposed to New York racing the way I am, not only as a participant but on the board, I think there's just an incredible amount of energy by the New York Racing Association, the management, to really make an incredible experience for the fans, for the owners, for the gamblers, for the whole sport. And I think that we're really doing some amazing stuff there, and I think it's just getting better and better. It's just the beginning of where I think racing is going.
Well, Andrew Rosen, he was named to the NYRA Board of Directors in June of 2015. Chris Everett, when she retired in 1975, she was a starting point for the Rosen's breeding operation. How about this, that match race he brought up with Miss Musket? $350,000. At the time, it was the largest winner-take-all purse in sports history. Each side put up $100,000 each to race against each other.
That's a real man's wager.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
By the way, almost 48,000 showed up at Hollywood Park for that match race.
That's pretty crazy. The old Hollywood Park.
What a day it's been, and a lot more to come. If you're an owner in the game, we'd love to hear from you as well. You can share your story, send it along to us at nyownerstories@gmail.com, and you can be part of the show as well. We're going to step aside, take a break in the action. Still to come is the daughter of Hat Trick ready to unveil a maiden victory. Vail drops in class to her lowest level yet in the nightcap. Coming up.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. Great to have you with us here on this tremendous opening day of action. One of a kind, Saratoga. You can play along from home as well. If you bet 200, you get 200 in your NYRA Bets account. Use the promo code PICK5 to take advantage. You can sign up with NYRA Bets anywhere nationwide and play over 200 tracks across the country. Go to NYRABets.com. Use that promo code PICK5 to get signed up and started. Earlier today at Saratoga, this was back in race 4, entry-level allowance race at 6 furlongs, and Kieran McLaughlin got off to a hot start.
Yeah, Takaful was dynamite. The son of Bernardini threw out 3 clunkers after his dynamic debut, and then this happened today.
He ran huge first time out, and when you have a 3-year-old that runs that well first time out, you got to try to pursue the Triple Crown, right?
You.
Go through some of those 3-year-old prep races, and that's what they did.
Meanwhile, race 5, it kicked off the pick 6, and Southampton Way, second time out, blinkers going on, kicked things off.
Southampton Way paid a pretty decent price, and this was for Horacio de Paz and Sagamore Farm. Horacio de Paz, although with limited 2-year-olds this season, has done a fantastic job with them.
So we did see a Maryland shipper after all.
We did.
Break through on opening day. How about that? Here's the late pick 5 follow-up. Again, if you do not live in the state of New York, the only way to play this wager, which you can do nationwide, is through NYRABets.com. We have had some big numbers, such big numbers that we have a potential carryover of over $100,000 to the 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 11, and 12. How about that?
Those are all carrying.
Yes.
Wow, 1 ticket winner to the 9.
Mm-hmm. Whole pool.
Not bad. Again, the only way to play that wager, if you do not reside in the state of New York, is to get signed up and started with NYRABets.com. We will, by the way, have a carryover, we already know, in the pick 6, $48,696. Welcome again to those just tuning in. Catching the show, there's that pick 6 carryover number for Saturday, which includes Lady Eli in the Diana trying to get revenge against Dickinson. Saratoga Live presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Day 1, and for those that had a rough day, it's really the only racetrack where you can have a losing day and still feel good about the afternoon you had at Saratoga.
That is true. I mean, you got Shake Shack. You got a lot of other options in case you're losing. The burger might be a little bit more expensive than when you walked in, but still going to taste just as good.
It's a $600 burger for me.
By the way, the graphic that we showed, Ribbonite did not win the start of that pick 5. It was actually the 10 that won that race and paid $14.
Okay.
Just want to make a little correction.
But Saratoga.
Race 10 to come and close things out here. Mile and a 16th inner turf. 40 maiden claiming race. It is a wide open group, as you can see as the board reflects there. Chad Brown's Sweet Connie Girl in for a tag for the first time right now. The 7-2 mild favor. With more in the group, let's go downstairs, guys.
Thanks a lot, Greg. The 3 Submit is a funny horse in here, and I picked this horse on top. 7-2 is a ridiculous underlay, in my opinion. Is Submit just slow? Because it wasn't a fast race last time, but the race she comes out of first time at the Meadowlands, believe it or not, has proven to be a very strong race. And she got totally, I don't know if she got shuffled or she took herself out of the race around the turn, Tom, and she re-rallied. Was it an illusion? Because it was a slow race, though.
Yeah, so you're talking about her last race, which was at this level, Andy, and she gets completely stuck and loses her position entirely and then makes a little bit of a late run. I really think that, you know, we got a rider change here to one of the Ortiz brothers. I think you're going to see a much more aggressive ride,
like Messi got
from Submit.
Let's move towards the outside. I'm taking an optimistic viewpoint, though I'm not thrilled with the price. The 7 Grand Banks is one that I thought Jose Ortiz may have made a mistake of being too aggressive last time and moved too soon. And I think her last race is better than it looks. For trainer Dave Donk, is on a very good run at Belmont Park.
You know, a 10-time starter, 6 tries on the grass. The best has a third in those 6 tries. A New York bred that has run for claim against New York breds. I looked elsewhere.
You're looking down the New York breds. You out of town or come here, and you're looking down the New York breds. What about a Kentucky bred? Oh, a Kentucky bred. You want the favorite, Sweet Connie Girl. Can she run it all?
You know, the first time we got together and did a show was last year, opening day here, and the last race of the day was this kind of race, a maiden 40, long in the grass.
Did you have your only winner
and
that day?
Chad Brown ran a horse named Market Strength, who had gone through the motions, maiden allowance in New York, maiden allowance at Jersey, and then ran maiden claim here and won the race. So he's got to have 5 or 6 horses like this in his barn that he could put in this race. Chad Brown is telling you, this is my best shot to win this race out of those 5 or 6 horses. That has to be respected.
I feel sorry for the other 4, but I think that's a very good point. Let's hear more about Sweet Connie Girl and the others as we head up to Maggie.
It's true, Andy, and I hadn't thought about Sweet Connie Girl before you said that, Tom. That's a very, very considerable point that you made. And on top of that, Sweet Connie Girl, she looks the best here in the paddock of any of these, as she will come back to New York, and drop to the maiden claiming ranks. I mean, she's just physically dominant over the rest of the field in here. She's bigger, she's stronger, and she looks as though she has her game face on. Next, we'll check in with another out-of-towner. Number 9 is Dynamic War. Comes off a bit of a layoff, and I know this horse got very nervous and washed out prior to going into the gate for that Keeneland effort. She's come over here with that kind of schooling saddle on, so it's a pad with a girth, so they feel as though they feel that girth on them so that it doesn't catch them off guard when they get saddled up. So it's kind of a precautionary measure. She also has the cotton in her ears. So obviously she's a bit of a nervous Nelly. We will keep an eye on her, but so far she's held everything together well, and she's very fit with that layoff on her form. Next, we'll check in with another drop down. That's number 12, Mizzen Cat. Mizzen Cat has impressed me with her physicality, but obviously she's just not that level. She was in a pretty deep and tough maiden special weight back on the turf last time out. I think she fits very nicely with this crew here, and she might offer a bit of value. She's just a very pretty, kind of feminine, elegant-looking filly, and it looks as though she's doing well. She does come back off a short rest. As Greg, we have riders up in the paddock for the finale at the Spa.
All right, Maggie, thanks. Of course, Dylan Davis will ride Mizzen Cat the 12, and all he did was put up monster numbers the last few weeks of that week at meet at Belmont. We're going to take a break. We have the nightcap still coming up. Shug McGahee ready to see if there's more behind the mask for Vail in the nightcap.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
You're watching Saratoga Live, opening day coverage on Fox Sports 2. We start our post-parade with Mama's Red Hat, actually French dressing the 2, I should say, Joel Rosario and Leah Giramati.
So we're looking at the one horse there, Mama's Red Hat. Excuse me, we're on the 2, French dressing now. This is a horse that had 20 tries as a maiden, 10 of them on the grass, hasn't gotten it done.
Yeah, 10-1 on French dressing. right there. Here's the one Mama's Red Hats for John Quiles, over 34.
Yeah, she seems a little bit overmatched here. 55-1 might be an underlay.
Submit the 3. It's Christophe Clement, second off a layoff.
She's my top choice, though. No bargain is 7-2. The question is, did she meeting tougher today? But she probably needed her last off a long layoff.
Joyful, interesting at 15-1 with Kendrick Carmouche for Derek Ryan.
Yeah, she was third at this level. She broke from an extreme outside post that day.
Rain in Spain as the 5 blinkers come off for trainer John Kimmel with Rajiv Mirage.
Another horse who's had many chances. She's third off a layoff. She ran okay 2 back. Terrible in her last start.
17-1 on Sunday Gravage. Junior Alvarado for Gary Contessa.
Yeah, she's going to try and use her speed and try to take him gate to wire here.
Grand Banks is the 7, more than double her morning line. Joe Bravo, we saw win earlier for David Donk.
I think she's far from out of it. She actually moved too soon last time and ran a credible third. This is tougher, though.
David Donk had a great late part of the meet at Belmont. Sweet Connie Girl drops for Chad Brown with Javier Castellano.
Drops in for maiden claim for the first time, and I think the horse to beat in this spot.
Dynamic War gets another try on the grass. A war chant for George Weaver.
Drops from maiden special to maiden claimer on the turf. Not a great move for George Weaver, but he wins with abandon in Saratoga.
Vale, it's Irad Ortiz Jr. for Shug McGahee, drops in class.
Look, if you're willing to excuse her last race, and she was not persevered with late in the race, she's a strong contender today.
Pinch Penny is at 38-1. Luis Saez for Peter Pugh.
Speed off her speed off the layoff last time out. Maybe she needed the start.
And Mizzen Cat on the outside at 19-1. It's Dylan Davis for Kenny McPeak.
Yeah, that's a tough post for a filly that drops into maiden claim for the first time.
19-1 there on the outside slot. Submit, Gabby, for Christophe Clement. Dropped in class for that second start, and you would think improvement here, second off the bench.
And Andy brought up a good point earlier, is that she did make several moves as she was in the middle of the pack, and then she dropped back almost like she lost interest, and then she re-rallied again. Christophe Clement with these types of moves, maiden claimer, second off the layoff on the turf, going long. He's 56% out of a small sample size, so he very well should, she should move up from her last race.
She hadn't run in 8 months. You know, she got Lasix. It was a really funky backtrack. If you watch this, she got backed up all the way to 12th. It's you're watching it right now. She was sitting sort of in the garden spot. She got really green, and then right now she starts to take off again.
I would say if you're looking at the replay, initially you would think that maybe she checked out of position.
Yeah.
It's really kind of an awkward race because I don't think that was the case. It was probably greenness issues. She just fell back, lost interest. You can see her swerving all over the track coming down the stretch. She's swapping leads, her head straight up in the air. She's going to hopefully have to improve in terms of the behavioral issues.
And no offense to Dylan Davis, because again, he rode home a lot of huge price winners, especially on the turf at that Belmont meet. But going to Jose Ortiz, that's a big move.
Well, it is a big move. I mean, listen, like you said, Dylan was hot at the end of that meet and riding high. But I think Jose and Christophe, when they team up together, 23%, and maybe he'll have this filly a little bit closer. And like Gabby was saying, she was looking all over the place, wandering around the racetrack. I think if he can get sort of a little bit more forward place and not behind horses, it will help her out.
But the price is really disappointing, right? I mean, she's only 7-2. I thought we were trying to sniff one out a little bit. She was 5-1 on the morning line. But I think this race might be a little bit more intriguing for some better priced horses.
Andy Tommy, this is a horse who was all kinds of rank in that turf debut at Keeneland.
I think the question with Dynamic War, I think there's really two schools of thought. Was she ranked because she didn't like the turf last time? Because it's entirely possible she's not really a turf horse. Or was she ranked because the rider was sort of restraining her and not giving her a particularly good ride?
Well, this was a trip handicapper's dream right here. She breaks horribly, gets very, very aggressive. Obviously, mentally is not right for this race. Keep in mind, that was George Weaver's first start with Dynamic War. That was back on April the 20th. He obviously has pressed the reboot button here. Got her to the barn, said, look, I saw what I saw in the race. That's her going wide right there. And I'm going to fix these things before I put her back in. Everybody in the backside knows that this race is going to be opening day, and I guarantee you, as early as maybe 45 days ago, Weaver is planning for this spot. I like this horse.
Yeah, and I think everybody on the backside is going to know this horse is going to go to the front end. I think that's what happened that day, Tom. Look at the races before that when Reed Baker had the horse. 21-4, 22-2, right up on the pace. Declan Cannon just had a handful when she got left last time out. I think today with a better break, Manuel Franco puts her on the front end and just hopes.
I think after Paul's been here for about a month and he's seen all the races where there's 5 possible speeds and the 6th horse wires the field, he's going to end up crazier than I am.
Well, lead or no lead, I think you're going to see a much more relaxed, dynamic war underneath the rider, and that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, I want to talk about French dressing a little bit. I hear what you're saying, Tom, about her being over 20, and those are obviously it's true. But you look at her; she faced a lot of better horses in her entire career. She's never run this cheaply. She's consistently run some Beyer speed figures, the high 60s, even as a 71 Beyer, which would make her very tough in here. She's second off a long layoff for a trainer who's not particularly good off layoffs. In her last race, she broke a length slow. She got buried inside. They just never really gave her a chance to run in there. I think she's a lot more dangerous than you might think she is. I don't want you to just look at her as an 0 for 20. Take her apart a little bit, and she makes some sense.
So she has competitive speed figures with these horses, no question about it. But 0 for 20, you're going to make me go to the window? No, only with a gun to my head.
Well, she's still a big price. I'm not. Listen, I'm just telling you, I think that French dressing, I'll tell you what, French dressing will be in the Super.
I think that's a fair statement.
I think you're completely right. French dressing has to be used here, guys. She has run faster than many of these. I know she's 0 for 20. I get it. A lot of times these horses just stay the 0-fers. But she also gets Joelle Rosario aboard, and I think Joelle is a rider that has very good hands and will get along with this filly very nicely. She looked great in the paddock to me, and of course I'm always rooting for my friend Leah Giramatti.
Well, 10-1 on French dressing, so we shall see. This will be the lowest level that she has ever run for in career start number 21. That's certainly a big negative, 0 for 20, but the big drop in class, maybe that'll be the difference. As for Vail, towards the outside, was the morning line favorite, 3-1 morning line, but right now 9-2 for Andrew Rosen, who we saw the nice piece on earlier.
Mm-hmm. Confusing start. It really was. What Tom said was exactly right. The horse was not persevered with late. Now you have to discern, is the drop from 75 to 40 that big? Because you do have the 8 dropping from Maiden Special, but I know it's from Monmouth and some other horses like the 9. I don't know. I really think you're playing a little poker. I like the 9. I think you're playing poker with the 9 and the 10.
I agree. I think I kind of wrote a little question mark on your paper here. I kind of like the 4 Joyful if you're looking at a nice, juicy price to play her here, 15-1 to throw into some exotics. I surely don't think she's impossible. If you go back to her races last fall, she was running against some quality horses at the time, and I think she could probably sit mid-pack. There should be a pretty decent pace in front of her. We just have to see what dynamic war will do on the front end today, if she's going to run off or if she can harness that speed.
I think she's a lot more than not impossible. I think she's got a huge chance in this race. Yeah, she ran against Maiden Specials. We're talking about the 4 right now. Joyful, who's 15-1 on the board. And you look at that form at Churchill, where she ran decent at Indiana Downs, but even last time out, that start at Monmouth, that if she can repeat that, Paulie, she might figure in this race.
Well, Derek Ryan, very underrated trainer of Musket Man fame and a very underrated turf trainer. 15% with a pretty high rated horse, 170 some odd horses, outran her odds last time. I think she's going to outrun him today.
We'll see. She's stepping into the gate here momentarily. Submit for Christophe Clement. But, Andy, there's another look. It's Joyful at that big price.
I give Joyful a shot, actually. I think that's one of the contenders in this race. I agree with the roof.
I'm getting nothing.
We're all against Andy. I like it.
It's a good spot, good position to take.
A bet on this? No? Dinner bet?
Let's do it. If Joyful,
I'll bet you guys French dressing beats Joyful. How's that? Any dinner taker?
We'll take that head-to-head.
Gabby doesn't pay, so she can't bet.
I will pay this meet.
LaDuca pays, so LaDuca can bet me anytime.
I like it.
There's Miz and Cat, Dylan Davis, the last to load. Let's send it upstairs. You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. Here's the voice of the Triple Crown, Larry Colmus, with the nightcap here on opening day.
Rolling line. They're off. And it's Joyful, Joyful, Rain in Spain, and to the outside, Sunday Gravy. And farther out, Pinch Penny's got speed. Sunday Gravy's going to emerge up top. On the outside, Pinch Penny settles into stride and sits second early on. Joyful, Joyful follows in third, and then comes Mizzen Cat fourth, racing for that turn. They're followed by French Dressing on the inside of Rain in Spain, and Dynamic War floats out there 3 wide. Submit settles behind them. And then it's Sweet Connie Girl, followed by Vale, and at the back of the pack are Grand Banks and Mama's Red Hat. The opening quarter mile in 23.88 seconds. Moving right along here is Sunday Gravy, on top by 2.5 lengths. And then it's Pinch Penny running in second position. They're followed by Joyful, Joyful. Mizzen Cat on the outside, and a hard-to-control French Dressing is racing in fifth right now. Headstrong there, and 4.5 lengths from the front. Then Dynamic War to the outside. Rain in Spain, Submit, and Sweet Connie Girl across the track behind them. Vale waits behind horses. Around Ortiz has Vale about 8 lengths off the lead, racing for the far turn. Then Mama's Red Hat and Grand Banks 48.95 was the half. Sunday Gravy leads the way on the far turn, 3/4 of a length to Pinch Penny. Joyful, Joyful is third on the inside. Dynamic War goes up. French Dressing is in behind them, and they're at the top of the stretch, and here's Joyful, Joyful up the rail. Right alongside of Sunday Gravy to take the lead. Pinch Penny now moves up into second. Dynamic War closing on the outside after Joyful, Joyful. Here's Dynamic War. Dynamic War and Joyful, Joyful battling back. Joyful, Joyful coming back to win it over Dynamic War. Then Grand Banks and French Dressing in 1 minute 43.41.
Joyful, Joyful at 18-1 in the get-out race, and what a battle down the stretch.
I'm hungry. I'll tell you that. Where's my dinner?
Yeah, you don't have to pay. Just tip tonight, Gabby.
Can you imagine if Gabby had paid me for those dinners she won last year? She could have won here.
Bitter.
I got this one in the winner's circle before, and I deserve all the egg on my face. But let me just say something else. We got a carryover of $104,000 in the NYRA Bets Pick 5 tomorrow. So NYRABets.com is what you all should be hitting up right after you make fun of me, and I deserve all the fun I can get. NYRABets.com. Sign up for NYRA Bets. You got to play the Pick 5 tomorrow, right, guys?
Yeah, and again, the only way you can play that Pick 5 if you do not live in the state of New York, sign up nationwide at NYRABets.com. It's the only way to be in it. If you're the only winner in a Pick 5, that late Pick 5 pool, $100,000 single winner payout for the month of July.
In a little heartbreak hotel, somebody had the 9. Dynamic War for the whole ball of wax and could not go by the 4 for $100,000. So a little bit of heartbreak, and hopefully not that kind of heartbreak for somebody tomorrow, but the 4 was game down the lane.
And I love to see Kendrick Carmouche, such an aggressive rider, too. Great job here down on the inside.
He really was. He's an underrated rider.
This was a perfect ride because he sat so patiently off the pace. He saved ground the entire way, patiently waited for that small seam to kind of open up on the rail. Perfectly timed moved, 18-1.
We were
Look at that.
talking into the race. The 8, 9, and 10 are the droppers. You're always playing poker with those type of horses. Meanwhile, the 8 and 10 were not the horses in the race. Obviously, the 9 was the live one, the George Weaver, who was ranked early, might have cost him late.
What a performance at a monster price, and Andy Serling owes us all dinner tonight. Where should we go?
Sperry's.
The most expensive place
Nobody
in
took me up on my
Saratoga.
bet. You're all too chicken.
What are you talking
Gabby
about?
doesn't pay, so she can't make a bet.
We have
and you guys
proof.
are too chicken.
We have proof on air. We can go back and show it again.
You didn't take me up on the bet.
I think we did.
No, you didn't.
I don't know what he's talking about. Joyful, Joyful.
He's trying to get Boston Market.
Only Amos is tough enough to take me up on my awful opinion. You guys aren't tough enough to do it, and Gabby can't bet because she still owes me 2 dinners from last year.
And I'm here to tell you, he does pay.
Someone kill Andy Serling's mic, and I'm not just talking about now for the rest of the meet.
Yes.
Joyful, Joyful at 18-1 to close things out. We're going to take a break in the action. We'll be back with more on Fox Sports 2 right after this. Fireworks!
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code SUMMER to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record-breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Eclipse Award winner Blame retired to stud with more than $4.3 million in earnings, including a historic victory over Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. In 2017, his top runners include stakes winner No Fault of Mine, Japanese star Resonator, and classic winner Singa, the dominant victor of this year's Grade 1 French Oaks. Blame at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Saratoga Live, there's your Mike Venezia award-winning jockey, Kendrick Carmouche. And how about that to close out the nightcap? They win at 18-1. Monster price here with joyful pairs, nearly $40.
Congratulations to the connections here. Bonnie Rye Stable, Kitten's Joy, mare out of the Coit Dam. Gold Mitten now 1 for 9 lifetime. And look at the price. The Superfecta $23,000. There's the pick 6 carryover. You mentioned the pick 5 carryover. And you have to go to the IRS line if you hit that pick 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
All right, 104,000 plus in that late pick 5 carryover pool for Saturday. Again, if you do not live in the state of New York, the only way to play it across the U.S. is with NYRABets.com. Let's head downstairs to Maggie for more.
Greg, you called this one the get-out race. I think Derek Ryan was thinking the same thing as winning trainer of Joyful, and you're pretty joyful with having a couple bucks on her, too.
Yeah, she was training really good coming in here, and I thought when I seen the form, it didn't look quite as tough as I was expecting, and I thought I had a really good shot.
Now, she's a filly that was going over jumps a couple months ago. What do you kind of acclimate her back to running these shorter distances? How did you go about training this filly?
I trained some horses for Robert Bonney and his wife, Julie Gomina, who is a steeplechase trainer, and I sell her some jumpers, and we go back and forth. And she said she didn't quite take to the jumps. Send her back to the flat and see what you can do. And actually, I entered her in an amateur race on Monday in Philly, and it didn't go, thankfully. And we put her in this one, and it worked out pretty good.
And you got Kendrick Carmouche aboard. Pretty nice ride.
Yeah, Kendrick and me go back a long time from his boy days, and I was glad to have him.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations getting off the duck early here at Saratoga.
Cheers. It's always good to get off the duck early.
That it is. Greg, that means back to you.
I think someone's going to be joining Brendan Walsh out at the pubs tonight.
Oh, yeah, been about a couple hours. How about that? Was going to go into an amateur race, the alternate route, Saratoga, and gets a W.
There's the late pick 5 follow-up. Double-digit numbers across the board, including the nightcap, that monster price, Andy.
It's funny, as Tom and I were sitting down here and the riders were coming by us for the horses for the last race, I was joking with Kendrick Carmouche, and I said, hey, Kendrick, just try not to embarrass yourself this meet as much as I'm going to embarrass myself. And I got to say, Tom, I think I've set the bar pretty high.
That's called karma.
It was a fun show and a great opening day. And honestly, I think we saw some terrific performances. Both stakes winners today, Tom, were ultra impressive.
They were very, very good. And you got to like how Derek Ryan approached the last race. He obviously played 18 holes of golf before he came here to saddle this horse, and he'll go out and celebrate tonight. What a day at Saratoga.
The only difference between him and you is after golf, you actually came here and worked. He saddled a horse and did his job.
Well, what an incredible way to get a win here. And there's nothing like winning on opening day, but to do it on this stage with this kind of crowd on hand, too, it's quite a moment.
Yeah, it was a great day of racing. Happy to be part of the team as well. And I had a blast. And congratulations to Derek Ryan. And, Tom, if you don't know, that visor stuck to his head like the Yankee hat on Owen Hardy's head.
You pointed that out.
Yes.
That's a very good point.
Well, we're just getting started. Day one of the meet. It was an incredible opening day of action. It only gets better day by day. Tomorrow, on Saturday, we are back from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern with the Grade 1 Diana. Lady Eli taking on stablemate Antono. And, of course, the rematch with Lady Eli and Dickinson. We're on Fox Sports 2 from 6 to 7 tomorrow. Well, in the Schuylerville, it was Dream It Is, Barbara Minshaw, bringing a horse who'd only raced on synthetic onto a dirt track and getting the win on the big stage with Dream It Is. What a moment. And then Proctor's Ledge, Brendan Walsh, his first ever win at Saratoga with Javier Castellano in the irons. We'll see you on Saturday. Take care, everybody.